Tell me, where do I take us? Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safe as I dive in. Blood stains washing underneath the waves. I'll be reaching out to keep you safe as we fall. I can't hold on much longer. We're drifting down to the other side. Try to pull us under. Keep holding out for the other side. Tell me, where do I go? Tell me, where do I take? Where do I go? Tell me, where do I take? Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safe. Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Rise, push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Rise. Welcome to the climb up, reach for the summit. Visions brave, the one falls steadily the end. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. This is your moment. Take to the skies, go. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Rise, push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Get it on, dare you. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through and rise, rise. They will remember you. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Pick up your weapon and face it.
Welcome everybody to another night of VCS action here on VCS English. My name is Everyday. With me, as always, is Yulway and a special guest tonight. Mr. Clockwork has joined us to bring another voice to our analyst desk. How are you tonight, man?
Hello. I'm really happy to be here as a guest again. Since the beginning of the split, I've been like here and there during the playoffs last summer, but now I'm really eager to follow all the storylines as they come up and develop. So I'm really happy.
We are really happy to have you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, we are really happy to have you. We love getting new voices on the desk, and you certainly bring some unique perspectives that we don't always cover. Your way, of course, we can't forget about you. How are you tonight?
Quite good. A little bit annoyed at the sun.
Keen to the games?
Nah, for sure.
We do have some good games for you tonight, of course. Tonight's fixture is Cerberus versus BTS. And then later tonight, we have Flash taking on SBTC. But we won't get to those quite yet. We do want to talk about things more generally. And I want to get your opinion, Clockwork. What's your take on the split so far?
Okay, so as, of course, everyone will have noticed, Gamma are a notch above everyone else. And Buffalo has surprised. The teams that we are seeing today specifically, and Secret, are the ones that struggled a bit more, especially SBTC. I really want to see something better out of them. I think today is their time to prove it, that they can still be up to Gam's level even after what happened yesterday. It was like a pretty quick loss. But anyway, I think that the teams, most teams, especially also Luxury and Cerberus, are coming up with their own way to play the game and to understand and deal with the meta that is coming up in the different regions with all the picks and so on. So it's a very exciting split, and the storylines are coming up everywhere. So it's really entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to hear.
It certainly is. I mean, there's a few teams that we could touch on in terms of not living up to expectations or breaking expectations. You mentioned the Buffalo. I know you've been very proud of them and their successes, and why wouldn't you be? It's been pretty fantastic. But another team is Flash. And this is an interesting one because you mentioned today is the day for SBTC to kind of prove themselves and say, hey, we might have gotten wrecked by Garm, but come later in the season, we'll be much better. But what if they do that, Flash loses again? Your way. What's going on at Flash?
Well, what's going on in Flash? I think Flash is wondering that too. They are just... I think their star players are not performing to the level they were expecting. They expected them to perform, and much worse, their jungler is really not up to par with all the other junglers. And we know you can't win or even compete in the VCS without a good jungler. So as long as the jungler is slumping and Slater doesn't step up, I think Flash is in deep, deep trouble.
Well, Slater is not the issue for Flash.
Oh, not Flash, sorry. Yeah, of course. I'm still so much into the Slater. Slater is playing at Flash thing. Yeah, of course. No,
Don't worry, I have to catch myself every time.
I mean, Slater is not playing great either, but yeah, Flash's new AD carry is not living up to the Slater legacy either.
They're really, really not. Flash is super struggling, and it's so sad to see. Like, we knew Flash was going to be worse this split. It's essentially a completely different team. But they dominate the VCS for a year. They establish the dynasty, then don't get to go overseas due to COVID, and then fall apart. What a tragedy.
Indeed, it's like really crippling. It has to be crippling because they didn't even downgrade that much. I still think that their players are still like at least middle of the pack in the VCS. So last place is absolutely unexpected from them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll stay in last. They've had a pretty hard schedule so far. They've played Garm. Who else have they lost to? I mean, playing Garm is already a hard schedule. You're in week 2.
They played Garm first, and then Luxury, and that's it.
Losing to Luxury is the really big one, I think. Yeah. The rest are kind of like okay losses. Luxury, they shouldn't have lost. That's really concerning. But I don't think they'll stay in last place. I think they will pick up a few wins eventually. I don't know about picking one up today, though. They're just so much weaker pound for pound than they were last split. We won't dwell on the woes of Flash for too long. We can actually sort of just move in and start talking for a little while about our first matchup, because we've actually got a lot to say about it, and I know Clockwork wants to go into some depth on it, because you've got some pretty hot takes on Cerberus versus BTS. I have a list of takes from Clockwork, and I'm going to let you discuss them. Is Big Coro washed up? That's certainly a take. Can you walk us through your thoughts?
So, I have been starting watching the VCS really closely, like 6 months ago, but I knew that there were some players that were shining on the international stage. Of course, we all know the legacy of Levi, Zeros, and even Palette, and such standout players that even non-VCS followers have at least heard once. Big Coro is one of them because he took part in various international competition, and he was at least, even against better teams, he was always at least decent. And to see him on a team like BTS, which has completely struggled and has shown very little to float their boat, it's kind of seeing players like Afromo maybe or Froggen that were once at the peak and now they're kind of struggling, and it's quite disappointing. I think he can still go back to that level, but also considering all the new wave of ADCs coming, also like Ariety and Shine, it will be a tough task for him.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
I'm not sure if I agree. I think Bikoro actually was the standout player for Percent last year, and then also started quite well into this year. I think we have to separate a little bit team performance and his individual performance, because I don't think his individual performance has been lacking. He was never he won titles, right, with Palette alongside him, and they were known as a very good bot lane. I don't think he was ever considered the absolute best, or maybe he was in contention, but I think he's just a very decent ADC, and I don't really see the fall of that, obviously, but that's just my...
It's just the ADC that quietly gets the job done. Not gonna, pop off, do those massive 16-0 games, but he probably also won't int, so you can put him on a team and reliably expect a fairly consistent performance out of him. Let's put our money where our mouth is. I hope you're ready, Yue. Can you put our predictions onto the screen for our first matchup? And let's go through what we've got. Clockwork. What you have 2-1. So you think BTS can take a game, and so do Yue. So do you, Yue. So.
Oh,
all right, actually,
Yue,
your prediction is not on screen. Yeah, we had to make a last minute switch. Vinny is ill. So Yue had to sub in at the last minute. So that is Vinny's prediction. But what was your prediction, Yue?
Well, that's a good question. I actually have to check. I don't remember.
Well, what do you think?
BTS against Cerberus. It all depends on Cerberus' mental. I think Cerberus should beat them 2-0. That's my prediction also in the sheet. So, yeah. I think Cerberus should go 2-0 here. But you never know. If they tilt in game 1, they could go 2. Cerberus is such a weird team. And I have no idea what they're going to show us today.
So, Clockwork, you do have BTS winning a game alongside Mr. Vinny. How do you think they do it? Where do you think they match up and take a game off Cerberus?
Okay, so mainly it will be a Cerberus mistake, and BTS will be able to exploit it, because especially Cerberus have been like, it's kind of they have 3 heads. They have one head, and when they play along with that head, they play very well, or they disappoint incredibly, and they have a high variance gameplay. And also they have a revolving door of players, such as also Shu Hao, that has played some games, but not all of them. And mid-series, they also switched out Ron OP for Hugh. So I think that if Cerberus try too much to switch up players, they will maybe not come up with a consistent gameplay. And BTS, since they have no subs and so on, can try to develop during the series in a more stable way. It's still I still think that Cerberus is the favorite in this match, and if BTS take a game, it's because Cerberus fumbled something.
Very good point. Now, we do have to go to a little bit of a break to sort out a couple of tech things, just due to how VTV was set up before we went live. But we'll be back in just a little bit. Don't you worry. We'll be back with a champion select. Don't go anywhere. The bans are already coming in thick and fast. It is Akali, Camille, and Na removed by Cerberus. Olaf, Udyr, and Pantheon taken away by BTS, targeting that jungle pool. And Cerberus responds with a first pick Lilia.
Interesting. Also, I think they want to prioritize Shuhao, of course, but also maybe keep some picks for the solo laners. Pun has performed decently. Yado has had high variance play, so I would understand keeping a counter pick for him might be beneficial.
We finally see the high priority on Seraphine. She's absurdly high win rate in solo queue and mid lane and especially bot lane position. Of course, this is not going to be a bot Seraphine, maybe a support Seraphine, but yeah, her highest win rate lanes are actually the lanes where she can farm. So let's see if she's put into mid lane. That would definitely sadden Vinny to see Glory on the Seraphine, but he might not have to do it. Slowly is hovering his Zoe.
That'll make Vinny very happy. Oh, we'll have to see where he goes in. Let's not get baited by Hubbers. Glory's Zoe is very, very good. I'd argue it's his best champion by far.
I agree.
Would be surprised to see that not locked in. Actually going to lock in the Gragas. That's very flexible. Could still go to the jungle, the support position, or the top lane, depending on where they want to move him around. We go into the second phase of bans, and BTS is going to be removing ADCs. Go ahead, Fossil.
I really hope that BTS put Gragas in the top lane, since he has a very disengage heavy kit and he can very well diffuse Renekton's early aggression, so it would be optimal to, it's like mitigating a threat that Cerberus is trying to put up in the top lane.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Go ahead,
I am a little bit curious about Cerberus' jungler choice. They played most of the first two series with Fook, and now we're changing back to Zuhao. They are the team that gets to play 4 series in the first 2 weeks, which is very unfortunate for Cerberus, because of course their new star player Ego is still ill as far as we know, so he's not able to start for them, and they are forced to play one more series than all the other teams. So a little bit unfortunate for them. It would be perfect to still end on a 3-1 record and beating BTS. To be fair, their start to the season has been very slow in terms of scheduling. Very easy start, easy opponents. They've played Second Buffalo. They've played now BTS, so 2 projected bottom teams. I think they played GLX as well, right? And Flash, who are not great either at the moment, so not really too much going on Cerberus' schedule, so at least in that point they actually got it the easy way out.
We will have Drakthar going back to his ever-present Graves. Not too surprising to see that being picked up, bringing some damage from the jungle position, and we have Samira Rel. That's a power bot lane.
Ooh, yeah, that's very interesting. Also, because in the VCS we have seen in general that they have a very kill-heavy approach and a very long, drawn-out team fights, and Samira and Rel fit this concept very well, especially Rel that brings a disengage. Also here, very interesting that BTS choose to pick Alistar into Rel. Rel is very good to counter engages from the opponents, so usually she is picked as a counter to Alistar, if I am not wrong, and BTS, it's kind of counter-picking themselves, so I expect this bot lane to really pop off for Cerberus.
I feel like they're like 2 layers of countering engages, because both champs are decent at countering engages, but Alistar's also very good into Rel in lane at least, because he can knock her out of her W jump, so when she tries to engage, her engage is pretty easy to read and very slow. Alistar just has to press 1 button and she's out again. Then she goes to her poop in her pants form, where she's super slow. And yeah, then she can't do anything against Alistar. It's not like Alistar can do much against her either, so the lane is just a face-off where nothing happens, I believe.
Yeah, I actually think we could see a bit of adaptation around maybe the level 5, level 6 mark, where Samira is the one actually going in to get the tether in the right spot. Because I think Alistar will struggle stopping Samira a lot more than he'll struggle to stop the Rel, just because Samira's a lot faster. We'll have to see. It is Huber still in as well. That's worth pointing out.
Interesting, yeah.
Subbing out Ron OP. They did this in their last series. They lost game 1. Ron OP was not the issue in that game, though. He played fine. He had a good game, in fact. And then Huber came in and was a different person. It was ridiculous. This is not the Huber we have seen in past years. This man was absolutely smurfing. But I want to throw over to you, Clockwork. Give us a few of your final thoughts as we head on to some of those.
My thoughts are for BTS in the dark sense, meaning that Cerberus has a much overall more rounded comp, and I also think have more scaling and more range in general, so they will have an easy approach to teamfight. I think CS take it.
Fair enough. We will talk to you again after this game. It's just going to be me and your way bringing you all the action on the Rift here on VCS English. And we didn't comment on where those flex picks actually ended up. It is going to be Gragas top lane and Seraphine mid. What do you think of Glory going to the Enchanter?
So, just looking at the composition and ignoring the players piloting the champions, I think this is the correct assignment of lanes. I think Gragas is the strongest in top lane globally. I know Levi Gragas makes you think he's strong in the jungle, but that's only Levi. Everyone else doesn't really play him in the jungle, so I feel like Gragas top lane is the strongest role for him, especially into Renekton. We've seen him succeed there. I think Seraphine mid lane is probably the best role in pro play for Seraphine, even though her win rate in bot lane is the highest. Her mid lane win rate is still incredibly high. It's like 56% if last time I checked, so very, very strong. They built a comp around it as well, with Drakthar on carry jungler that relies very much on auto-attacking, so with the setup from Glory on the Seraphine could be the main carry here. Now, when we look to the historic precedents of this team succeeding, I'm not sure I like this composition, as you alluded to, right? Glory on the Enchanter, when Drakthar is on the carry. I'd like to see the other way around, right? Glory, higher potential probably, better carry player overall. Drakthar has had a lot of struggles against the better junglers of this league, so we'll have to see. I think it's the correct assignment of lanes, but let's see if they can execute this strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind seeing Glory on some setup champions. We actually saw that a lot last split. He played things like the Galio and the like. I mean, DK is apparently on BTS's roster, and I just think he's superior to Drakthar, but who knows why that's the decision they're making. Drakthar's had 1 or 2 good games, though. If he can pull out 1 or 2 good games here in this series, that's all you need. Out of your jungler. And Graves is hardly a champion that requires a huge level of execution. As long as people tell him where to go, he should be fine. As we do have BTS getting the first push down in the bot lane, hardly surprising, as they will just farm under tower, but it's really all just even across the map. I don't think there'll be too many early fights, honestly.
Yeah, but already a good start for Zuhao. A little bit ahead in jungle clear. Was able to go back to his own... Oh, that was close. Almost able to contest the Skullcrab. Now he's in a little bit of trouble against Graves. He probably has to flash the wall.
Yeah, Zuhao on the run. I think I might be a little bit out of sync, as he has just gotten to the back of the Dragon Pit. Dodges away from that end of the line. Now Huber and Artemis on the way in. That's a big stun. Elio has to get away. Zuhao is ignited and flashes. There's a teleport coming in. CES needs to evacuate. They don't want to commit their own teleport, which might bite them. As a heal goes on to Yardo, he's trying to get to the back of the Dragon Pit so he can flash over the wall. No, he doesn't actually have flash. He's in trouble, but the first blood has gone over to Huber. Koro very low. The Q misses from Artemis, but the dash does not. Now Elio's got to get away. It's a double kill for Huber. Glory lurking in the bush. He will be safe, and it's a little bit of a bloodbath in the early river.
Yeah, and I think you probably need to hit that 2x speed.
I think so.
That's more. But, of course, very good start once again from Cerberus. Huber showing up. The whole bot lane actually showing up. Great positioning. I hope we get to see the replay where we can go back and look at Rel. Because even though we got adjusted to Rel, she's still pretty new. And it's always exciting to watch a new champ excel in teamfights. So let's look at this again. Starts with Zuhao trying to get the crab. But it's a very dangerous position for him. As you can see, he gets pushed away. Not quite sure why Drakthar didn't commit harder to chasing down Zuhao. And then Huber turns it around. Elio missed his timing for the W, I talked about this in the Champ Select. I'm not sure why he didn't just knock him away. Huber gets the free engage double stun, gets back to his horse, and now he has another stun. This time, Elio tries to get on top of him, but once again, Artemis positioning further away from his support, so Huber able to get another stun with the E. Very nice Rel performance, and also very good position from Artemis to enable the Rel stun over and over again.
Okay, so I think I'm quite far ahead of you because I just 2x speeded. But something just happened on screen. I'm gonna have to wait for you to react to that one. We'll figure out how we get back in sync. Did you just see the solo kill?
Yeah, that's a Renekton solo kill. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Aye.
No,
especially not with
not.
Flash available for TH.
Yeah, TH just completely underestimating damage. I'm going to pause at 6 minutes.
I'm in a replay right now, but yeah, okay.
Yep, that's fine.
So, TH tried to E away from Pan and didn't flash afterwards, even though he got the stun, and not 59, 6. Okay.
Cool. That should be all good now. Continue.
So that was definitely a mechanical misplay. I don't think he really realized that he was in kill range. That's okay. It's sometimes hard to read, but then just flash away. You got the stun, flash away. Why did you stay there? Now I see a tier in his inventory, and I'm a little bit concerned for the future of TH's Gragas here.
This is an interesting one for sure. TH, maybe not super experienced on the pick, because I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
I think I've seen tier before. I'm not sure if you should go it after struggling this much in the early laning phase.
I mean, he has the Bramble Vest now. Did he have the Bramble
Vest?
Vest?
Yeah, he had the Bramble Vest when he died. Yeah.
Okay, well, he probably shouldn't have done it then. He really shouldn't have done it. That's such a silly mistake. He might be reading that he's not really behind, he just made a big mistake.
Yeah, he's putting his Mythic very, very far behind the normal timing, especially because Pan is rushing his Mythic, as you always do right now, on Renekton, of course. You want to get that Gore Drinker as quickly as possible. Not super effective in the 1v1 matchup, so TH might still be fine in the lane. Right now, controlling the minion wave as well is ahead on levels, because the whole wave is still to die for Pan. But when it comes to early game teamfights or mid game teamfights, TH is going to be so far behind the normal item timing, especially also investing into 2 laning items after Bramble Vest. And even though Bramble was cheaper with the preseason, 200 gold cheaper, it's still an 800 gold investment plus tier 400 plus a ring 400. So that's 1600 gold just for laning. That's a lot.
That is a hefty amount of gold to invest in not actually scaling up. He is going to be going that tank Gragas, of course. It is worth pointing out the Grasp of the Undying. He's gone the Bramble Vest. And he'd be pretty silly not to go the tank Gragas up against the Renekton. So he at least will be able to slowly get towards that big unkillable state as Drakthar moves into the mid lane just to ensure a safe push for glory. And then Seraphine and Graves are going to go on a bit of a walk to get some vision in the enemy jungle.
So, speaking of Seraphine, look at her inventory, because that's interesting as well. Not going for the very early spiking Moonstone. Instead, just going traditional mage, which is... Well, I can kind of see why she does it in this composition. She will still offer a lot of utility and a lot of potential in teamfights, as the stream is slightly struggling for BTV. It's not on our end. Apologies nonetheless. But yeah, this Seraphine not going for the heal build, instead trying to put a little bit more damage. I expect her to go for something like, probably just the Liandry's, maybe Ludens. I think Liandry's is the common choice.
Ooh, wow, the stream is really struggling. We do apologize, this is not on our end. That's actually the main stream having a struggle, so there's nothing we can really do. I mean, what do you actually think of that choice, though? Because
no time for that.
Don't think... Oh, okay, Zuhao flashing on in. He's going to put the Graves to sleep, but instantly died. Terrible call by Zuhao there. But Pun teleporting into the back line, down on the bot side. Big Koro has killed Artemis, and now Pun should be able to clean up Drakthar easily. 2 for 2 across the map.
Yeah, and I have no idea how bot lane happened. Rel roamed up. Oh, it's a classic. It's a classic ADC diff. Oh no, Artemis, what have you done? Artemis got caught when his support was roaming, so that's never a good sign. But how did this also... Oh, we didn't get to see the start again from the top side. Instead, it's not actually roam from Rel. Rel was in lane. And for some reason, Artemis still died. So they just overextended into the fight. Artemis tried to get the kill. Super close. Fair enough, it's not that bad. It's just a game of inches in the bot lane. In the end, Bikor and Elio barely able to survive the burst and get a counter kill. That's very nice to put the Kai'Sa back into line, because Artemis, of course, with the 2 early assists, was slightly ahead in gold. Also 1 wave and a little bit ahead when it came to farm. Though Bikor should be able to pick this up. Artemis still will be collecting the gold for the first plate. So in the overall ADC matchup, Artemis still slightly ahead.
Yeah, and they are both on that noon quiver now. So item parity roughly. Serrated Dirk versus a Vamp Scepter. So these 2 ADCs still very much equally matched. It just comes down to execution for them. A 2-0 Renekton up in the top side, though, is going to pose some pretty serious problems for TH. And I think it means that Cerberus should be fairly uncontested on this Rift Herald if they want it. TH is lurking. I'm sure we're very out of sync. Yes.
So, first Rift Herald.
Oh, that's a massive Seraphine ult as they go on in. Big Koro diving forward, trying to get onto Artemis, but has to flash away. Oh no, are we out of sync?
Yes.
Oh, you do it.
It's happening now. Probably. There we go. We got spoiled a little bit, but that's just Seraphine ult. Hugh trying to get back with a counter engage, and Artemis in a lot of trouble with Pan now flashing in. Big shockwave, and Cerberus is getting some ground. Lori is super low, but Rel on the other side dies for some reason. In the end, it's only 1 death. Everyone disengaging. BTS with better positioning. Sorry, you can take over again. It was just a little bit too far ahead.
Yeah, I was casting from the future there. My apologies. As what's your timestamp?
12:08, 9, and 10. And Pon, yeah, you should just get away. Ugh, Elio. Oh. That's not...
18, 19.
Yeah, we in sync again. Lovely.
I need a new computer. Oh my god. But here we go. We have a replay, so we can see what I was yelling about, and your way you can break it down.
Yeah, look at this counter engage from Hugh. Very nicely played by so much time after the incredible ultimate from Glory. So it actually looks like Cerberus has the better positioning. They are not able to lock down a kill, though, because there's a lot of disengage potential on BTS's comp. So it's the fight kind of went BTS's way, but it was a very close affair. Could have gone either way. In the end, Renekton now coming out with 2 kills after the last few minutes. So he's in a super strong position, and we already talked about the struggles of TH to keep up in gold. So that's probably the point we have to look at, the top lane difference in the next few skirmishes.
Yeah, I think so, as we do have Elio. Hex slashing over the wall, trying to aggress onto Pun as that tower does fall in the top side. BTS securing first tower, but now TH has to run away as there's a very angry horse lady on the way in. He's going to go to sleep, and this Gragas will be sent packing. Happy hour's over, mate. It's last call. As he goes down, a tower falls in the top side. That's actually 2 towers picked up in that top lane. Was it worth it to kill TH?
I think this is actually a good trade. So some arguments can be made that losing an inner turret is not great, but at this point, losing inner turret really doesn't do anything. Inner turrets don't give much gold, and now there is potential for Pun to freeze. I know it's probably not going to happen. It's VCS, but just theoretically, now it's super hard for TH to ever go into top lane if the lane state is unfavorable for him. Because that goes so deep until to the inhibitor turret, so he's never going out of there. We'll have to see how TH manages this difficult situation. It's a little bit more gold for Bikoro, of course, but Artemis got a kill and the bot lane turret. So in the end, gold-wise, ADC position should be an even trade. We can see Cerberus came out with a gold lead and 2 dragons, so they don't mind this turret going down.
Yeah, that's a good point. CES answering well, stacking up those objectives. We do head over to an Ocean Rift, so a soul is a very tantalizing prospect. would definitely help out, equalizing some of the healing and support that Seraphine would give. Speaking of the Seraphine, has no mythic completed yet, has diverted for a tier, much like Big Boy Graggy up in the top side.
Yeah, I
But
don't
over on
think
the
she
other
has
side, we
gone
do
back
have-
to base in ages. She
Yeah.
has been sitting on these items for a long time, so probably able to finish her mythic soon. I think that's why she's overstaying a little bit, because right now she has full inventory, so she doesn't really want to go back and sell something to pick up another piece. So she's probably just waiting. What is Elio? Elio and Zuhao are having a little bit of a dance there.
Yeah, that was a bit of a strange one. Zuhao's going to go low and go down. Drakthar is here to play. THTP's in. Can't get onto Pun. Oh, I tell a lie. He can, but he barrels him the wrong way. Pun will disengage, but this should be another tower for BTS.
Good play there, but good cross map as well from Cerberus, immediately going towards mid lane and trying to get as much damage as they can. Can't confirm the turret kill, and this will put BTS back in the lead. Nicely done. And Zuhao so far, really not impressed from him, from his play here. Too over-aggressive on the Lilia. I'm not sure what he thinks he's playing, but it's not Lilia. I think he thought he's a tank jungler or something. He just ran in there for no reason, over-aggressive into the full item Drakthar. Just died immediately. No reason to chase Alistar there either. That was just over-aggressive.
Yeah, it was a very silly decision out of Zuhao here. Can definitely get on to a point and a clockwork of what I talked about after this game regarding Zuhao, but not playing this Lilia very well so far. And Drakthar, it must be said, having a pretty good game on the Graves. Drakthar is someone we are often quite critical of, as he is incredibly inconsistent in his play, but he has flipped heads today.
And I feel overall, it's very early in the season, but I think overall he's looked way better than last year. Last year was
100%.
Yeah, I think last year was very firmly in last or second to last place. Actually, his team has had both of the worst junglers, Eagle and Drakthar, on the same team. So I think for now he's a decent jungler. Of course, BTS has still not picked up a single serious victory, so would be a good start to pick up one here, especially against the substitute jungler for Cerberus, as Ego is still not here. So the jungle position may be something to focus on. For the next few games, we see the first item finished for Zuhao, who actually didn't finish his Liandry's, instead went for the early Zhonya's, because he's inting a little bit too much, so he needs to stop himself from inting. Probably a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, it does delay that Liandry's quite a bit, though, which is definitely not ideal. I think you need to be riding this Renekton strength now a little bit. Potentially trying to continue your Dragon Snowball, which might be a little bit hard, as you are just a little bit behind the pace on items now. But we'll have to see what they can do. We still have the potential of the Samira pop-off, as she does have that shield bow and has had it for a while. Big Koro going towards a Gale Force is hardly surprising.
Oh, Glory is looking for the engage. Needs to be careful, though. He's a very squishy singer there. I want to see a little bit more of Seraphine mid lane. I'm not super researched on mid lane Seraphine, I have to say. Oh, Elio with the engage. That was one big engage, and
oh, I am behind. There it is. The Seraphine engage comes in. That is a lot of burst going out. Artemis is just getting blown up. This is so easy for Kaiser. Pun will answer back with one, but it doesn't matter. Hubert doing his best to get his team out of there, but it's all he can do, and that's a big fight win for BTS.
Very nicely done. Glory and Elio working together. And I think we can see why Rel can sometimes struggle into Alistar. Alistar's engage, something that happens a little bit too quickly. And if Rel is CC'd herself, she can't really counteract. So let's look at this again. Positioning from Rel. Pretty defensive here. She's looking for an angle to make something happen. But now she's caught out and Elio just gets the clean engage flash Q. Very nicely done. Rel has absolutely no way of counter-engaging that. In the end, it's a 2-for-1 trade, so not the best in terms of kills, but they get a lot of summoners, they get a dragon, so stop the dragon snowball, and deepen or furthering their lead to now almost 2k.
Yeah, it's very impressive. If you just have a look at Discord, we might be able to fix that sync if you do it, I just but No rush on that one, as we do just have Glory going up to the top side, picking up a bit of farm. BTS did slow down the Dragon Snowball as they pick up that Ocean Drake for themselves. And let me just sort this out. Can you just talk while we sort this?
Yep, of course. So 20 minutes in, I think the game is still in not quite equilibrium, but pretty close state. We have the very strong point in top side for Cerberus with this Renekton going 3-0. He would like to spend or give a little bit of gold over to Artemis or transition a little bit of gold to his carries, because right now it's a little too single target focused in terms of gold income on Cerberus. All the gold on Renekton, I mean, usually you like that for the early game, but now is the point where you slowly want to transition to the other parts of your team, to the other carries on your team. You want the Samira to pick up a kill or two. You want the Oriana to get another item under her belt for the next team fight, because right now she only has one. And Biko, dangerous.
Ooh. Teleport coming into this mid lane tower will stabilize it. Double teleport, in fact, as TH and Glory both arrive. Can I just check your timestamp? I just want to see how this is working.
21 and 1 and 2.
Okay,
3.
perfect. We're dead in sync. This should work.
Nice.
As the Rift Herald is summoned up in the mid lane, they're going to try and slow her down, but TH cannot stop the charge. But there's a huge engage. Cuba charging on in. This Rel once again popping off. Glory answers back well though. Artemis, he's charging up the style meter, will go into the circle and pick up that first kill. Just a 1-for-0. It had potential for more, but Cerberus will still be happy.
And that was a very impressive passage of play from Cerberus. Oh, and it ends a little bit on a bad note, but
Mistake.
still, that's only one kill for the support. You don't really care about that in the long run. The passage of play still impressed me, because they set up the Rift Hold, got the flash. Ilio, that is very deep. Okay.
That is extremely deep. Big Coro doing a lot of damage, but taking a fair bit in return.
Almost felt like a little bit of frustration there from BTS coming through. A little bit too... I really don't like this move from Ilio. But let's look at this again first. Yeah, another very good Rel engage. I guess both supports don't really care about counter-engaging or disengaging. They just want to make a support show out of this game. Very cool engages from Alistar and Rel. I like it as a support player. But, yeah, I mean, Hugh, don't clear ward with 2 HP. That was very aggressive. In the end, I still want to go back to the whole passage of play, because they set up the dive with a very nice swirl seed into ultimate from Zuhao to force out Big Hero, but Big Hero had to flash away, so they bought enough time where Big Hero was not able to wave clear to immediately press the button on the eye, so the Rift Herald got summoned. Big Hero had no chance to reset the wave, so they got a free turret, and after the turret immediately engaged with you. So very nicely orchestrated play, brought them back into the game, and now back to a very even state. Also got the much wanted kill onto Artemis.
Very true. This is a pretty exciting game, not gonna lie. We are at 23 minutes. Gold is basically dead even. There's only one tower separating both teams, and the Dragons are currently spread amongst both. It's very difficult to tell who's really winning and who is really favored to take this one. It's just gonna come down to execution out of both Cerberus and BTS. Glory lurking in this bush with Drakthar, but won't pull the trigger, just goes and clears the wave. And we have a little bit of the VRAM.
Wait, I'm very confused. What is Glory trying to build right now? I'm pretty sure Bendelglass doesn't build into anything but mythics, right?
Mikhail's.
Ah, right. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, does it? Do you want to go Mikhail's on your mid lane mage? I'm not sure about that.
I feel like, yeah, that is a weird one. I guess it's just to stop whoever pun goes on. Whoever pun goes on gets Mikhail's instantly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Or to cleanse Zuhao's ultimate. They had a big problem. Oh, Ilio!
Oh, Elio trying to get the party started, doing a pretty good job of it, but that's a good shockwave. Hubert trying to answer back, but Pun needs to enter the fray. He's doing what he can, and he does enough, and bang! Here goes Samira! There's a triple kill! There is a quadra kill! Drakthar is bleeding on the floor, but I don't think he'll be found. Oh my word, what a play out of Artemis. Samira has so many tools she could fix a damn car, as we all know. The Dragons picked up, and now Cerberus are firmly in the lead.
Yeah, and so far her toolbox was lost somewhere, and she just found it. I'm not sure. Elio maybe handed it to her or something, because that was the dream scenario. Artemis, very nice disengage here, and it looks like Hugo is overextending. He dies a little bit too quickly for comfort, but then Pan with him an amazing re-engage, and look at Artemis. Perfect timing. I think he had some Katarina games before Samira came out, because that was some exquisite assassin timing. Perfect Inferno trigger, instant triple kill into a Quadra. Could have been a Panther if Drakthar didn't run away. So that's blowing the game wide open. Amazing engage, and Artemis once again coming through. I know Clockwork had some points prepared about Artemis, so I'm going to leave the discussion to him for the next analyst desk. But yeah, Artemis, very impressive play here.
And it's got to be said, there was a little bit of an interesting moment there when TH barreled Huber into the middle of the team without realizing that Huber had the Orianna ball on him. A little bit of, you've activated my trap card, and a 3-man shockwave into the follow-up from Pun and Artemis. It was a good team effort from all of Cerberus. They're now, as you said, in a very good position. 3 items for the Samira, now firmly ahead of Kaiser by about half an item.
Yeah, now Cerberus is really in a good position to finish this game. They are 1 dragon away from their Ocean Soul. Their Samira, as you just alluded to, was super strong. And even Orianna got a nice injection of gold, has her 2nd item finished. She's not really in the position to carry this game, but she doesn't have to. You have a very strong frontline carry in Pan in a super strong position, and he's not falling off for some time, because he's very far ahead of the clock. And with a big shield from Sterax, he can tank for a while. So the Orianna is more there to just provide a little bit of utility.
Ooh, the double sleep. They both use a little bit of utility to get away. Glory blowing the flash, Drakthar blowing the collateral damage. In the end, they do manage to get away from that lullaby.
Yeah. This is an interesting Lilia game from Zuhao. He's basically acting as Zoe on this game, because the only thing he's really doing is throwing out long-range sleeps. He's not really doing much in team fights, but I mean, it's good enough, because it's forcing so many summoners out of the enemy team. Oh, TH, what are you looking for?
Just getting there to reinforce his team, putting a bit of fear into Cerberus, but so far TH has been pretty low impact on this Gragas, it must be said. Has not been having nearly as much impact as this man on your screen right now. Pun, who honestly, despite the quadra kill going over to Artemis, he was actually probably the main player in that last play. Bought the ADC so much space to actually get the kills. The tower does fall, and Cerberus continues to grow this little lead. They have nurtured a 5k gold lead.
Yeah, I think the game is looking pretty bleak now for BTS. Yeah. Where could they try to come back? It's always the problem with behind Graves. You always picture your Graves as the strong mid-game carry that's far ahead and then able to execute everyone. But once you fall behind on Graves, it's really hard to see a way back. Because where does he get the auto attacks in? How does he ever auto attack Rel and Yado through all the zone control, right? Orianna level 16 now. She can probably burst Graves down even on her own. So I think this composition has run out of steam. And I guess they put up a good fight in the early game. Cerberus known as a very good early game team. BTS known as a very bad early game team. So improvement in that part, but not quite good enough. And I just realized TH sold his tier.
The Hoonie special. That, oh my god, TH not having a good game here. Maybe the tier was just, having to first time Dragons on stage. He was just crying. There's a tale of 2 top laners, I suppose. Sort of the upper class versus the lower class of top laner here.
High class experience from Han.
Yeah, the filthy bourgeois top laner. Oh man, this is it's a bit rough to say the least for BTS. They are sort of playing a man down in that sense. Glory as well needs to start having more of an impact on this. Seraphine has landed a couple of good ults, but there's just been no real follow-up available. And as you said, it's looking really bleak for them. The dragon is about to spawn, and This is Ocean Soul if Cerberus get it.
Yeah, indeed. And I think Cerberus in a super good position to get it as well. First on the dragon, Draxar. Ooh, Draxar!
Ooh, Draxar! Alright, buys his team some time, picks up the second Ocean Drake, but here's the engage. Once again, Huber on this Rel is unstoppable. Goes in, blows up Glory. Big Korra does a fair bit of damage onto the backside, but has to flash away. Elio guarding him. TH will go down. Sacrificial lamb for the team. Zuhao survives. And Draxar buys them 5 minutes, but they lose 2 kills.
And every day, the combo could have been so beautiful from Rel and Oriana, but sadly Yado completely fumbled the timing on his ultimate. It went to nothing. I want to see the Rel-Oriana combo. I think that's a very cool one. The double displacement. Instead, yeah, it was just a little bit of a sombrero. Not for the Oriana, but for Huber.
They're gonna try and
which is nice. I think they probably have the time. They're struggling with turret aggro. Yeah, I think they misplayed the turret aggro pretty badly. They had a mini wave there, so no real reason to take double turret aggro there, and especially for Zuhao, who's quite squishy at this point. So a little bit of a misplay, but they're not really in any worry when it comes to later game states. So yeah, look at this Huber Yado combination. Wait, where the... Oh, we already missed the shockwave, I think. Unfortunate. Yeah, that was... I mean, Big Koro still can't do anything. The Kaiser... She just has no target to jump to. The composition for Cerberus is very compact. They don't really leave openings. They don't really have weak parts that split away from the rest of the team, which is what Kaiser always looks for, right? She looks for the target to assassinate and then snowball that into a very good team fight. Instead, this Kaiser is just looking to front to back, and that's not what Kaiser wants to do. She's not a bad team fighter, and a lot of people confuse that with being a good front to back team fighter, but Kaiser excels whenever the team fight gets only a little bit weird. Whenever anything weird happens, Kaiser likes it. She is really not the champion to go for when you have...
5k health on this Baron. 3k. There is going to be a contest as Elio enters the pit. I hate to cut you off your way, but it is important. As Elio diving on in, the Baron does go down. It goes over to Cerberus, but there is going to be a fight over it. TH going gold. Elio getting blown up. And then they move into the back line. It's a double kill for Zuhao on the Lilia. Samira picking one up as well. Draxar is sort of just having a bit of a run. I'm not even sure what he's doing.
Yeah, that's my bad. I completely missed the contest for BTS. I was too excited to talk about my Kaiser point, but the game was over for quite some minutes now, to be honest. So apologies for missing the important Baron, but of course Cerberus easily able to clean it up. And this was, in the later stages, a pretty confident game. They found one incredible team fight, and Cerberus was always known for being very good team fighters. Once again showing us that Artemis as the main carry of the team works wonders if you have engage and peel tools around him. So not the most confident performance against a team that's supposed to be very bad, but a decent one. And I think that's a good showing after struggling a little bit in the last few series.
Yep, I have to agree. That was a really good performance out of Cerberus. BTS, they put up a good fight until that big mid-game fight where the Artemis Quadra kill came in. That completely broke the game open. They never really recovered. Don't worry, we'll be back in a few minutes with our analysts, with Mr. Clockwork, to bring you all the breakdown of Game 1, set you up for Game 2, and then of course we will head straight into the action here on VCS English. We hope you're enjoying the show. Welcome back, everybody. It was an explosive game one between Cerberus and BTS. But in the end, Cerberus were the ones to bite down harder. After all, they've got 3 heads. It's a hard matchup. Welcome back to the VCS English Analyst Desk. We have Clockwork and Yulway, and of course myself, every day. Clockwork, you are our dedicated analyst, and of course you are our guest. So what were your takes on that game one?
Okay, so this game one pretty much is a summary of how I would expected the whole series to go on. So toe-to-toe, both teams kind of keeping the fight up. They were even in goal for most of the game, and then Cerberus eventually pulling ahead, mostly out of experience in the team fights. And the team fights were the element that was crucial for both teams at different points in the game. At the beginning, BTS was really pulling ahead. I mentioned during the draft that they had shorter range in general for the team fights, but actually they were playing really well around the Seraphine concept of artillery mage, and they were choosing fights in the open where they really could control their damage output much better than Cerberus, which had champions like Lilia, Oriana, which have very little agency when they fight in the open. But as soon as Cerberus started picking their fights in more closer environment and corridors, especially around the dragon where Artemis popped off, then that was the moment when Cerberus turned the game in their favor. So as soon as Cerberus understood how to fight properly, the game was theirs.
Yeah, what do you think of Kai'Sa in this situation? Because that's what I talked over the Baron with, because I got so excited talking about Kai'Sa and her weaker points, because a lot of people think she's the strongest champ, or the strongest ADC at least in the game. We actually saw her struggle quite a bit to have any impact in the team fights, so I think that's also due to the fact that Cerberus was very compact and didn't leave any openings, any weak members alone out to dry. Do you agree?
Yeah. I absolutely agree. And first, I mentioned how Bikoro might not be at the same level of the past, but I think this is not the game you should look at to prove that, because I think he was put in a spot where he had very little agency too. He had very few occasions to ult, maybe in the backline. I don't think he ever did that, because what's his target? Does he go on Samira or Oriana? But they were all keeping very close, thus denying any access to the Kai'Sa, and the pick was completely shut down.
Very, very true. It was an impressive performance out of Cerberus, knowing when to take their fights, as you said, Clockwork. As soon as they recognized how their composition wanted to fight, they didn't ever stop fighting in those situations. So we head into the draft, where BTS has moved over to the blue side. They start off with an Oriana ban. Clockwork, what do you think BTS can change in the draft to get them to a game?
So I think they should play, like, if they want to play this kind of fights with long range and so on, I think they should opt into more scaling, something, I don't know, like more mages. Not that so focused on a jungle pathing. I think last game, for example, Drakthar should have been more active in the early game to punish the Lilia. I think BTS, maybe they would do better by picking a Lilia themselves that has more agency as the game goes longer. They banned it, so they probably disagree with me. And maybe also probably the Kai'Sa was meant for that. They wanted to scale, but then didn't really build up a composition around it. So maybe some longer range AD carry, some Aphelios might be interesting for them.
I just saw something super funny on screen. Imagine telling someone 2 years ago that there would be a time where Udyr would be first rotation ban in pro play.
So I feel like BTS just made a huge mistake. They banned Olaf in game one. They swapped it for the Oriana ban, and they swapped Lilia for Talia. Talia for Lilia, I should say. The way around. And then they first picked the Seraphine and gave the Olaf Kai'Sa. Seraphine is strong, don't get me wrong. She is. But she's not Olaf and she's not Kai'Sa.
They seem to be very committed to this strategy of Seraphine plus Graves. Let's see if she goes healing this time, or she once again goes Leandres and then doesn't really do much. I like the Xayah pick away, because last time BTS actually banned Xayah, being afraid of this counter, quote-unquote counter matchup, because it's not really a counter matchup, it's a pretty good, decent matchup into Kai'Sa. So Big Core, also a big Xayah player, if I remember correctly. So that's probably pretty comfortable for the bot lane. And finally, Yado Zoe.
Oh, Yado. His comfort pick is in, so I think so far Cerberus has a great draft. Having your hands on Olaf in this moment in the meta is half of an auto win. That said, I think Xayah, at least Xayah, has some tools to deal with it, since she can kite very well, provided that he doesn't ult. So yeah, there is still agency on BTS, but they need to play accordingly and carefully around the Olaf especially. What's the next bans? Cerberus are targeting Glory at the moment with a Syndra ban, and BTS get rid of the Rel. Rel would be insane with this composition of Olaf and Kai'Sa.
Oh yeah.
So that's the ban.
Yeah, Rel's synergy with Kai'Sa is through the roof. It's even better than Samira, and we already saw a great Samira synergy in the last one. So, yeah, I think you never want to give up Rel Kai'Sa if you can avoid that. Interesting second support ban here over Leona. They choose to go with a Nautilus. Nautilus has fallen out of favor for almost everyone. He got nerfed over and over again after dominating the meta for such a long time. So, very surprising to see him prioritized over the likes of Thresh, Leona, maybe even the Lulu. I think all of these are better and more in meta than Nautilus.
Yeah. Also, puzzling that Cerberus is keeping the counter pick for Hugh and picking the Renekton blind, basically, which of course gets answered with on an Ornn. That is a very fine matchup. Ornn doesn't really have hard losing matchups, even into the Renekton, which is a strong lane bully. But still, I would have preferred Cerberus to pick the support and then leave the counter pick for the Pun. Pun has showed that with the right tools, he can take the game in his favor, as he did before.
This is so obvious.
Yeah.
This Leona pick is... This Leona is... Okay, never mind. I guess
Also,
they're going said. I thought the Leona was better. Whatever. Hugh prefers Set. It's still an engage support into Seraphine. I absolutely hate this draft from BTS. Not because it's bad. I think all the champs are strong champions with great win rates and super strong in the meta. But this draft has no winning lanes. It is one of the worst early game teams in BTS against one of the best early game teams, at least from last split. We still judge from last split because most of the players are the same. And they are just going to get run over. I mean, BTS was always a good late game team, but if they get to the late game with this composition, fair enough, that's a great late game composition. But how? How are they going to get to the late game? Why is that?
I expect them to struggle a lot, especially when it comes to skirmishes. Early skirmishes in the jungle should never ever go in favor of BTS. And if Cerberus can really pick up the snowball, well, they have to find some way to stall them until like 40 minutes, and still Victor needs to play very well and to build accordingly, otherwise he won't be able to shred through the Renekton, the Olaf, and the Set. So it's going to be really hard for BTS to put out the damage, even in the late game.
I feel like this was a draft fumble for all the reasons you said your way, and also just because Cerberus played blind pick. Like, they just picked the 5 champions they probably just wanted. Like, we know Yado loves Zoe. You know, we had an interview with him where he said that his team members started referring to him as Zoe because of how much he plays the champion. Olaf, ridiculously strong jungler. Pun, going back to the Renekton that he dominated on in game 1. Kai'Sa for the bot lane. Like, such a ridiculous situation here. But Clockwork, let's get your last words and a prediction.
I predicted Cerberus 2-1, but seeing this draft from BTS, it's 2-0, definitely.
Fair enough. We'll talk to you again in just a little bit. Don't you worry. as it will be me and your way, bringing you the action here on the Rift.
Every day I'm
2H,
so
custom
frustrated.
rating.
I'm so frustrated with this approach from BTS. This team is really... man. I'm not sure if it's their coaches, if it's the team decision, you never know. We don't have the insight, but why don't you just try to play more towards early game and get better there? It's VCS, it's always going to be early game focused. Why are we always playing late game on this team? And don't get me wrong, they can win maybe even a series playing late game, even against the better teams, because their late game macro and coordination generally has looked very good. But you're never going to contest for playoffs if you lose more than half of your games in the early game. I just hate this approach. I don't know why you would do this in the early stages of the season. You want to improve. Don't go back to the old pitfalls of you from last split. Why?
Yeah, it seems silly, and I mean, I feel like it's especially egregious. Like, you can't pick 3 losing lanes in like NA or Korea, the sort of less aggressive regions, and I say that with air quotes, even though I know you can't see that. Like the quote unquote less aggressive regions, you can't do that in the VCS. You can't do it there, and you really can't do it here. If you pick 3 losing lanes in the VCS, you're just going to be 10k gold down at 20 minutes. Like, good luck with your scaling.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they manage it. Let's see what they do. An early flash trade from Set. That's very, very normal in the bot lane. Yeah, you just go for that every single time, because Hex Flash gives him almost the same as Flash, and he's very hard to lock down, even when you gank him, especially for Graves. I don't think Graves can even try to gank Set. I think that's just useless, that attempt.
Yeah, it's a waste of time. Very much a waste of time there. Not surprising. Set would run Hex Flash as his summoner spell if he could. As a little sleep does land onto this Victor in the mid lane, as Yado does get that priority. Shove the wave in. Very unsurprising there. As Glory will catch it all under his tower.
We saw this matchup yesterday, right? And yesterday I brought up, they watched one of the coaches, very high elo, I think he's called Vega V2. Yeah, he's one of the coaches for, I believe, C9 in Sweden. Right now, I'm not sure. So, He talked about this matchup and how important it was for Victor to not go Doran's ring. And once again, we see Doran's ring here in the VCS. So.
Oh, Elio is getting pumped. Gets the Haymaker slammed in. That Kai'Sa passive doesn't quite proc. But my word, this is BTS's bot lane being put through the ringer early on against a Hail of Blades Kai'Sa.
Yeah, it's to be expected. I think so far they've actually traded back decently. As you can see, Hugh is struggling in this lane to stay healthy enough. Needs to be careful. No flash can actually be his downfall. And now we see Artemis being
Artemis has to flash away, but Huber will force it to be a trade. Big Koro having to flash, as does Artemis. So in the end, all is fair.
Yeah, let's look at the junglers for a second. So far, nothing really has happened. Both junglers very content to just farm up. Olaf will probably look for his first ganks now. After full clear, he's back to his jungle, but very nice ward. Look at that. Very good awareness from TH to ward the top side.
Running forward, lands the face breaker, doing a lot of damage here onto Koro, and down he goes. The Haymaker shield keeps Huber safe. Artemis has to be careful, but Elio cannot get far enough forward, and there's the first blood.
Yeah, that's what you pick Seraphine first pick for, right? To lose lane?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Very close trades again and again, but a little bit too much comfort for Big Koro to staying too far into lane. And to get back to the earlier point from Clockwork, from the start of our broadcast today, is he washed up? No time to talk about that, though.
There's a bit of a gank here as TH has to flash away, but they're going to flash on forward. They're going under the tower, and the last axe will land. Zhu Hao picking up a kill in the top lane.
Auto win. Half of the auto win was the Olaf, and there we go. First gank is immediately a first kill. Very nicely done from Hugh. Using his Hex Flash plus, how's it called again? The movement speed buff you get after using summoners.
Nimbus Cloak.
Nimbus Cloak, right. Nimbus Cloak, that's the one. To get in range to E into just a full-on burst trade. Gets them the first kill for Artemis. So Artemis and Zhu Hao ahead. The dream start for servers, and it's all already starting to look difficult for BTS.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just, you pick 3 losing lanes in the VCS. It's just incredibly foolish. You needed some priority. Drakthar is just unable to do anything on this Graves. There's no real lane he can enter. And now they're really suffering. Of course, Ornn at least does have a bit of a CS lead up in the top side. I'm not actually 100% sure where that came from. It might just be a result of where the wave is. I can't quite see.
I think it's probably
Flash again
because
from Huber.
Olaf stole a few CS in the gank, so probably Renekton just gave up one wave roughly to the Olaf when he pushed the wave into dive. So the Renekton is not too unhappy with that. I think he's still got most of the experience there, even though he's one wave behind in farm, or even a little bit more, because the another wave is hitting the turret for TH there. The Renekton is still very much in a good spot here.
Doing very well. Glory will shove in as Cerberus did pick up that first Infernal Drake. Unsurprising to see them starting off the Drakes well, as TH actually has the wave in a pretty good position here. He won't be able to maintain the freeze, but he's still doing well to deny a little bit from Pun, trying to slow down this Renekton and not have a repeat of last game where Pun had that MVP performance on the Crocodile.
Yeah, and even though you just said that Renekton is still in a good spot, I definitely agree with you. This wave management from Pun hasn't been stellar. Now a good trade, though, to force the crash, so TH not able to sustain the freeze for longer, so this crash should help. And this crash also helps Zhu Hao invading the top side, and he's not looking for camps, he's looking for kills.
Yeah, it really is, as there's a few pings onto Zhu Hao there. They obviously know where he is on top of that vision ward. Drakthar will go clear it out. On the bottom side, Huber has to get that big shield from the Haymaker, and there's an exhaust onto Artemis to keep Elio safe. But this bot lane continues to be very much controlled by Cerberus. But Big Koro still able to safely farm. Ooh, but Yado has entered the play. Oh, God. Okay, Zoe.
Yeah, miss
Zoe!
everything. Press the free ignite.
Everything. Oh my god. At least that was his actual ignite. He does land the bubble as well. This is going to be a double kill in the bot side. They'll give it over to Artemis. They'll get a tower plate, and it's all gone from bad to worse for BTS.
Great roam from Yado. Doesn't even have to use his flash. You say it was his actual ignite, but it was also spellbook ignite.
Spellbook.
Yeah. So, well, that's Zoe for you. Just jumping over the wall, missing her pedal star, and then just auto attack with more sparkles, and even more sparkles added with the ignite. So, Elio sparkling down into Doom. Well, and Bikoro knows he's dead. He knows perfectly well he's dead. There's nothing he can do. He has cleanse and flash, but I guess you can try to flash the pedal star. Maybe.
It doesn't save you.
Yeah,
I think saving the summoners makes a lot more sense. And just before we went into the replay, we did see that because it was just a Yado roam, Zhu Hao was free to just go pick up a Rift Herald. So even more going over to Cerberus. Of course, that's not immediate gold, but it will be able to be converted into a nice bit of money.
Yeah, who would have thought having 3 losing lanes would lead to you not being able to contest any objectives on the map? I certainly didn't think so. And I hate this draft so much. It's so it's so disrespectful.
It's great because oftentimes analyzing drafts in League of Legends is actually a very intricate thing. There's a lot to consider. You know, people like LS put in a lot of time to be smart enough to really analyze drafts. And then BTS makes it easy. We get to seem smart because we can analyze this draft. Because, you pick 3 losing lanes and it goes badly. Easy.
Oh, man. Man, Victor is looking okay right now. Zoe's sad. Zoe picked up Redemption. She's not supposed to do that anymore, is she?
It's still 11.1. This is still 11.1.
Right. Yeah, you're right, of course.
VCS is on 11.1 until next week.
Oh, I forgot that.
So this is the last patch where she can pick up redemptions.
So one last redemption for the Zoe, hopefully. As we have another dive.
Here we go. Hubert charging on forward, needs to go. And there it is, the flash showstopper. The feather calls do come in. The blade call, I should say. It's a 1-for-1. Both supports going down, but in comes Yado trying to get onto Big Koro. Hasn't quite done it yet. But it's a party in the bot lane. Bot lane in 2020 lull. Or 2021, I should say. As it's everyone down there. Rift Herald is charging. Artemis is getting donated a big old pile of money. And Cerberus are now 3,000 gold ahead.
And who needs micro execution when you can just bring more members? This was very, very sloppy from Cerberus, if you look at the micro, because they missed a lot of skill shots here. So I like this initial engage. The counterplay is good, though, from BTS. They hit all their line skill shots to get a counter kill. Now look at Yado. He misses Pedal Star, then he misses the bubble, then he exhausts. Nice. So next up, I think, is Zuhao missing a few axes there. Oh. So not the greatest execution in terms of mechanics, but, well, it still results in the 3k gold lead because they just brought more members. Now this Kaiser is 3-0 with a full turret. So I'm not sure where BTS is going to go now.
Yeah. We'll have to call on the stands to have a chance with this one. The BTS stands need to come in and help your team out. As Zuhao will claim this Ocean Drake, going up to 2 stacks of the dragons. We head on to the windiest of rifts. As does seem like well, that's kind of a blessing because Cerberus is probably going to get Dragon Soul, but it's only going to be a Cloud Soul.
Yeah, it's still an Olaf, so do you really want to play against Olaf with Cloud Soul? Probably not. It's not very nice to have him run you down every single time, especially as Seraphine. I think Elio is probably dead every single team fight against Cloud Soul Olaf. Nothing much you can do there.
That's going to be a fast boy.
Actually, a lot of good Cloud Soul champions on this team. Renekton really likes Cloud Soul for the extra movement speed to actually close the gap after initiating. Basically gives his ult another utility tool, not only HP, but also movement speed. Pretty nice. Same goes for Zed. Zed ults in, slows everyone, and then gets to reposition freely for his E afterwards. So very nice there. Not very helpful for Yado on Zoe. Okay, fair. The cooldown, no one cares about the cooldown for Zoe ult. And the movement speed, meh. So,
not the best.
Yeah, still 3 very good Cloud Soul champions.
Yeah, and I mean, we are still at least 10 minutes away from the Cloud Soul, so not too relevant yet. As Cerberus are just pushing into the enemy jungle, trying to continue to grow this lead, which is what we want to see. They do need to keep it going, as a good Ornn ultimate will catch 2. Hubert not getting stunned up by that gravity field, though, and both of them will be able to evacuate. It's the Ornn ult spent for nothing. Not the best for BTS, but as I was saying, Cerberus does need to keep their foot on the gas. If they let up for too long, BTS can definitely scale back into this one. There is always the threat of that, but at the moment it looks like Cerberus has no intention of taking their foot off the throat.
Yeah, and the problem is, how does BTS deal with 2 backline diving Gore Drinker builders? It's already hard enough. We saw in the last game how hard it was to deal with Renekton alone. Now you have Renekton and Olaf. Olaf is even stronger than Renekton on this patch. Both with Gore Drinker. Both can just go on top of your carries. Olaf even easier than Renekton, because he can just ignore all the CC and the kite from the likes of Zarya, Seraphine, and Victor. So I don't see how they can survive the next few team fights. The only real mode for BTS right now is turtling. Just trying to avoid everything, trying to give up as much as you have to, trying to hold on to as much as you can, and then maybe in 15 minutes when Zarya builds a 3rd item, or starts to build a 3rd item, then you can consider entering a team fight again. But for now, a no-go zone.
There is a 2,000 gold gap between these 2 AD carries.
Yeah. Oh no.
Brutal. And I mean, Zarya is definitely the stronger late game ADC between these 2, but it's not like it's a early game ADC out of Artemis. Kaiser is still very, very strong.
Yeah, and especially in this composition, this is very different from the last composition. We talked a lot about Kaiser and her struggles in the last game. This is different though, because this has a very clear front and back line, and Kaiser should be able to find the target when she jumps into there. The stun from especially the gravity field is not quick enough to deal with Kaiser. She can just reposition with another E or flash or heal to get out of the stun. So I think this super strong Kaiser can play the assassin role that Slater always wants to play. going into the back line and trying to assassinate 1 or even 2 targets later on in the game.
Yeah, but hopefully they can play it a little bit better than Slater normally does. Because Slater plays sort of the assassin of his own team's hopes.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's definitely possible that we can see Artemis really going into that back line and just shredding up Big Coro. We'll have to see how that goes. As Pun just farming up this bot lane, Cerberus have slowed down a little bit because BTS just weren't giving them anything.
Yeah, this is the part of the game where it's the hardest to drive your lead. There's no big objective to play for. There's no Baron to accelerate your lead. The outer turrets lost the platings, so committing to outer turrets is hard because most of the time you already have the outer turrets. And the one that's still standing is mid lane. That's easy to defend, very hard to flank to get back into to get to. There is no other thing you can really play for. So you either dive and risk giving up your lead, or you wait and get as much as you can, and then wait for the big objective to spawn, which is Baron and Dragon 4. So these are always the minutes where the not super good teams, but decent teams will struggle the most, because it's just hard to see a direction. It's just not very clear from the get-go. The game League of Legends doesn't really offer anything for teams in the lead at 15 minutes to go for.
True. It is definitely a slow down point as well. We have been a little bit doom and gloom about BTS, justifiably so, I think. Glory has been doing a good job of just surviving and farming in this mid lane. Does have the highest farm in the game, but as I say it, there is an engage. It is going to be the start off here. There's Elio going down, but it's traded for a shutdown on Artemis, and this is exactly what you talked about. You just said if they get antsy and dive, they risk giving up some of their lead, and they just did it.
Yeah, and for no reason whatsoever. I have no idea why you wanted to engage there.
Silly.
Yeah, just push in the next wave and take the turret, and then you can engage. Why would you risk losing this dragon and even the turret?
Pun lurking. Drakthar's already gone over to the dragon pit, though. This is actually a pretty big mistake out of Cerberus. Oh, wow. BTS is terrified.
Yeah, Pun is really big. Pun could have bursted down the Drakthar in a matter of seconds there, so I think this was actually a pretty bad positioning mistake from BTS, not sticking together, not going to Dragon Pit together. They were too concerned with the mid lane turret going down to actually see the big objective, the dragon, being in much bigger danger, because they bought themselves a little bit of time. They had enough time to burst the dragon down and slow down the scaling. One turret is not going to change everything, even though it's a super important turret. The dragon is going to change a lot more. And Artemis,
this was just so
we just talked about Slater and his play when he goes for the Kaiser. This was classic Slater, and just a little bit too hypey there for the bot lane for Cerberus. They saw the kill. They didn't see that they were dead.
They saw that there was a kill there. Unfortunately, they didn't realize it was not going to go to their team. Teleport into the top side will save that tower. As Yado does go up to stop Big Coro's push. Artemis donated a red buff, and it is still Cerberus picking up that Drake. They do throw away a couple of kills. They do throw away a shutdown, but they are still pretty firmly in the lead and have still not open. Actually, did they get that mid lane tower? I can't tell.
Nope. They missed the opportunity.
Not. I didn't think so. Yep. So the mid lane is still secure. BTS need to hold on to that. As soon as that falls down, Cerberus can really accelerate, because the map opens up so much.
Yeah, it's very, very sad for Cerberus that they weren't able to get the tower. If they will lose this game, this is the point where they look back to the dive in the mid lane and say, this is where we lost the game, because we lost our advantage, we lost our big shutdown on the AD carry. We lost the opportunity to break the map open with killing this or raising this mid lane turret. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think Cerberus is still strong enough, and today their mental seems to be more stable than in prior series. But there's potential for it to happen now.
Certainly is. As Big Coro is farming up a storm, is trying to catch up in gold, though he's obviously still very far behind his opposite number. And Glory, I was saying earlier, he's done a very good job just trying to sit there and accelerate, and getting that big shutdown donated to him will certainly help out this Victor as he tries to scale into the mid and late game.
Highest CS in the game. He is getting scary.
Yeah.
2 items finished for him. That's a lot of cooldown reduction already under his belt. He has a lot of mobility with Flash, Cleanse, and of course Face Rush. And the Q extra movement speed from Victor. Should be finished by now with his upgrades with 200 CS and 2 kill participations. So that should be roughly 3 evolutions. So the Victor is online. He's only getting stronger from here on out. And we already saw if Kai'Sa overextends into Victor, she can get burst down. So there's a sliver of hope.
Yep, and it's a Victor-shaped sliver. As Yado does go in, lands a fair bit of poke, but the Ornn ult will be used. Cerberus is a little bit split here, but they're going on Pun, who can just turn gold. Huber makes a bit of a mistake, walks into the gravity field, and low does go Olaf. Drakthar tries to snipe, but the flash was good. But BTS pretty handily win this fight.
It's not over yet, though. I think Cerberus is trying to get a second wind in this fight. Olaf pretty far away.
Yado
Oh,
very
wow!
low, but there we go. The paddle star lands. Huber diving into the backline, gets a big shield. Haymaker across 3, and Artemis will follow up. This should be easy for him. He gets 2, and then flashes on out to make sure he's safe. Yado wants to go forward. Can't hit the bubble, though, or the paddle star. So Cerberus bleeding on the floor, but they do win the fight.
And after Cerberus in the early game relied on numbers over execution, this time it was all execution. Perfectly timed re-engage from Pan. Zuhao wasn't even there. Artemis sees the opportunity, seizes it as well, and just takes a double kill, flashes out immediately. He knows he can't win against Lori at this point, especially already burst down to half HP. What a great outplay from Cerberus to get back into a very comfortable position in lane. Started with Yado sniping and Pan following up perfectly. Hugh, look at him. He buys so much time, and Artemis in perfect position to just get 1 Q and 1 auto attack, and double kill is here. Really good execution.
That was honestly the entirety of the Cerberus roster coming together.
Oh, yeah.
Huber, followed up on that engage, hit the true damage across 3 people. Support set might not do a huge amount of damage, except with the true damage on Haymaker. That still hits like a freight train. And it made a pretty big difference. Cerberus now, with their health bars refilled, will take a trip over to Mr. Big Purple Worm, Baron Nashor.
Yeah, trying to use the dragon spawn timer as a bait. They have perfect vision, and it looks like BTS has absolutely no idea. They are pinging the Baron now, but it might be too late already.
Yep, 3,500 health on it. This should be a free Baron. Ooh, Drakthar is close enough, could go for the steal, and will, but he can't get it. It is going to be Cerberus securing the buff. They will lose Zuhao. Ooh, will they lose 2? Artemis is in a little bit of trouble. Pun is going to go down as well. Drakthar has been found killed by Artemis playing the assassin. But 3 kills for BTS. The Baron was not worth it.
And this is a weird play. This is another one you have to look at in hindsight. Maybe in the series, maybe just in hindsight for the team. Because it can also come back to bite them. They will lose their Dragon Soul. It's only Cloud Soul in the end, so maybe the bait will pay off. But a Baron for 3 kills is most of the time better for the opposing team, for the team from behind, because these kills were probably also shut down. So let's look at the gold values. Of course, the contribution wasn't great. 2 kills going over to support Seraphine will make her a little bit more better for team fights, more utility. But in the end, he wanted this gold on the very heavy AD carry Xayah. She's still so far away from her items. But it's a little bit of respite for BTS. They buy a lot of time, and even though they lose another turret, and the gold lead extends to 5k, I think this passage of play was BTS favorite.
Oh yeah, I 100% it was BTS favorite. I think they stop the Cloud Soul, they pick up a few kills, they lose the Baron, but it's only 2 buffs that actually survive. I think that's very much in their favor.
And we have our first Ornn items coming in. Now is the knowledge time. Do we know all the names? I don't.
I know a lot of them. I know
Leandri's upgrade. Leandri's Lament, I believe.
Lament.
Yeah, Lament.
Okay, that's a cool.
I'm not sure about the tank item.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Frostfire Gauntlet becomes. Oh, hang on, it's
Crest.
Rhyme Forged Crest or something.
Yeah,
like
something like that. Yeah.
It's Rhyme Forged is the first word, which is actually pretty cool.
So finally
push in the mid
Cerberus
lane,
will be able to break the
finally
mid
get the
lane
mid
turret.
lane.
Yeah. And now the map position is very good. Can they get a counter kill on Pan? Ooh, not the greatest of dodging from Pan.
He's going to try and turn it around, getting onto Glory if he can, but he can't. He gets gravity fielded, and it might take a little while, but this Crocodile is going to die as he tries to buy some time. It's traded for the inner tower in the mid lane, so actually a good distraction there by Pun. They'll get an inner tower in the bot lane as well. So it was 1 kill for 3 towers.
I actually think that's a good play from both sides, as BTS knows ultimately that they can't really defend right now against the Baron buff, so they know they're going to suffer a few turret losses. So instead of just being turtling and being very reactive and waiting for the next opportunity, they seize the day and try to make a play of their own, and there we go. Honestly, one of the worst movements from Pan I've seen in the skirmish. He's so indecisive here, going back and forth, not trying to go on Glory, which I didn't understand. I think he's dead 100% either way, so just try to burst Glory down. I'm not sure what he tried to do there. Not the greatest execution. His team got bailed him out with a lot of gold, and once again extended the gold lead to 5k. Though I say extended, the gold is actually pretty much stagnant right now. 5k, and we talked a lot about the late game potential, plus own items. 5k is looking pretty slim right now.
Yeah, they didn't really... that Baron fumble, as well as that mid lane dive, was sort of all BTS needed to get the wind back in their sails. And this game is getting alarmingly close, just due to the misplays by Cerberus. Not what we want to see by any means, but of course it's not over.
Yeah, Typhoon finished now as well. Yeah.
Yep.
That's 3k gold in stats from the on items. All the on items got standardized to 1k, or roughly 1k. So that's 3k more for BTS. That means with an outscaling composition, they are basically only 2k gold behind. Cerberus needs to close this game in the next few minutes, or it will get very scary.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and pick up the Cloud Soul and then snowball off that. It is spawning in about a minute. Baron, of course, only 20 seconds after. So I think a decisive fight in the Dragon Pit might show us who is going to win this game. The other question is, how hard is BTS really outscaling? I don't think it's that hard. The ornaments definitely help.
Yeah, their overall team fight is incredible. Victor in the late game, Zaya in the late game. If you fight an open field where the information is clear for BTS, I think they outscale pretty hard. I think if the fight is more cluttered around an objective, maybe in the jungle, then it's not quite as hard. Zoe gets to hit her bubbles. Olaf gets to run into a carry line before dying.
Oh, here we go, though. We'll have to cut you off as Huber has show stopped in, gets the Orn ult, and it will apparently just be a trade.
Well, both teams just agreed to cease fire. Interesting.
Yep, 1 for 1. We've both used an ult. Fair enough, guys. Back off.
I think Cerberus didn't expect Victor to not be there. If they had any information on Victor's positioning, I think they would have hard committed for the fight there. Victor was in base, unfortunately, for his team. But fortunately for them, nothing happened. Nothing came of it.
BTS did shove the wave in there, but the Dragon is started up. 3,000 health. This should be easily secured. There's a Cloud Soul, but Cerberus still have to get out. Pun TPing in.
Oh, the bubble.
Damage. Oh, the bubble lands. Elio's in a lot of trouble. Can they finish him off? They definitely can, but on the other side, they've killed Artemis. That's not a fair trade. Drakthar extremely low, but Glory is terrifying. As Pun, he's just indecisive. Once again, he doesn't get over the wall, and he goes down. Had to decide if he wanted to 1 for 1 or get out. He didn't decide. Ooh, the bubble won't land due to Ornn being unstoppable during the Bellows Breath. Cloud Soul is secured.
Yeah, disappointing play from Cerberus. I'm not sure if we're alternating between disappointing and impressive plays, so the next play is probably good for Cerberus, because this one was pretty bad. Artemis really putting on his Slater performance today, diving into the backline, unprotected, immediately dying on the Kaiser. Very weak team fight here from Artemis, and then also Pun's indecisiveness, as you pointed out. Once again cost him potentially a kill, potentially his life. What is Artemis doing here?
Just silly.
That was honestly one of the worst mistakes I've ever seen Artemis make. And then Pan has his shield. He runs away while the shield is active, goes back in when the shield has abated. What are you doing, Pan? I know you're dead, but try to make something out of your death. Your team can't follow up. Artemis is dead. Just try to get on top of one of the carries.
Or dash over the wall. If you've got your dash, get over the wall.
Yeah.
It's fine. You have to do one or the other. You can't do both. And he tried to do both and just completely failed. It's just unfortunate. Pun not being able to follow up his fantastic game 1 Renekton, as the Ornn ult will come out, but it only goes on to Huber. Not honestly the best use of that Call of the Forge God. Drakthar takes a lot of damage. They do need to be careful though, because Cerberus now has some very powerful go buttons in the form of the Ragnarok and the Dominus.
On the other side, the very important items completed for BTS. Finally 3 items for Zaya. This is the point where she gets online, where she can really carry team fights. Glory is only getting stronger. And look at all the healing from Elio. This Seraphine is causing a lot of trouble for Cerberus, because all the poke, especially from Yado, is not sticking. There's nothing remaining on the health bath.
They're funneled into a really tight choke here. This is dangerous for BTS.
Yeah, no face rush for Glory.
Out of evac, and here they go. Olaf pulls the trigger. He's getting so much healing out of the Gore Drinker. Elio is instantly dead. They're on top of Glory, but they haven't killed him. Huber goes down. Pun with a massive shield. Oh, Yado in the middle of the enemy team. He's not going to be able to find his way out. This is all on Artemis. He gets 1, but it'll only be 1 as Drakthar takes him down. But the rest of Cerberus is now able to finish out this fight, or at least they should be. Ooh, TH is trying to make it close, and oh my word, they do enough, and BTS comes out on top. Drakthar with a triple kill, carrying his team.
And we might have actually said too much in draft and early game. They have outscaled Cerberus completely. This teamfight, once again, credit to BTS. Good positioning, very good stalling, and now they're online. They know how to execute this one. They actually lost their healer at the start of the fight. That's never good. But it didn't matter in the end, because their positioning, especially from Glory and Drakthar in the end, crucial to winning this team fight. Glory kites away here.
I actually want to point out where the fight turns. There's one moment. It's coming up after Yado dies.
Yeah, I think Artemis here with the opportunity to kill Glory, and Drakthar deals so much damage. It's incredible. Drakthar and Glory able to burst him down there. And Pun and Zuhao have no synergy whatsoever, it looks like, because they were once again super indecisive there. Pan went for the plant, or the honey fruit, I should say, and Zuhao tried to go in. If they both go in together, I think they can burst down Drakthar, or potentially.
Well, the problem is, as well, they missed everything on Drakthar.
Yeah.
In that last 2v2, they missed the axe and the Cull the Meek on him. If those both hit, he dies. And then it's just an Ornn. So just a very micro mistake there, and now BTS has well and truly outscaled. You might see a 2k gold lead for Cerberus. That's not real. BTS is firmly in the lead in stats. The Cloud Soul will remain an advantage for Cerberus, of course. But now it's the burden of execution is firmly on Cerberus' shoulders.
And more specifically on the shoulders of Artemis. After 2 not so great team fights, he is the main carry, and once again we see late game Kai'Sa struggling to really put her team on her shoulders and carry them to victory. This Kai'Sa in the VCS seems to be a little bit of a trap pick right now, because every single time we go into late game team fighting, the enemy team knows how to play against Kai'Sa, knows how to position compactly enough to avoid dying to Kai'Sa one after the other. And look at this damage from Drakthar. Wow. He has well and truly outscaled the other side of the jungle matchup.
For sure. Now, there is still, of course, chances for Cerberus. We don't want to say this one is over. We have a full build Kai'Sa. Locked and loaded. Teleports are coming in. That's a lot of damage onto Glory. That's the perfect target to hit. Huber throws himself in. Should be able to get the big haymaker. Baron is secured for BTS, though. Artemis over the wall. Needs to clean up Drakthar. He's not doing it, though, Yulwei. He's not getting enough done. Yado gets a kill on the other side. Huber goes down. The Guardian Angel will protect Artemis for a moment, but he can't get the kills done. And Artemis fails the execution and cannot carry the fight. We are back in a 2v2, a familiar situation, but this time Zuhao and Pun will evacuate.
And it's very strange to look at a composition made of Olaf and Renekton as the front line, as the divers, and both of them stay alive for 2 team fights in a row. There's something going very wrong with Cerberus' comp if those two don't die first. So we can see, once again, Artemis. So this start from Yado is very good, bringing Glory down to almost lethal range for anyone. And we can see not quite able to get the combo down for Olaf. That would have been crucial. Artemis tries to go in and execute, but he's not strong enough to go 1v2. Immediately goes into his Guardian Angel. Now his damage is dearly missing. And I
think this was such a huge mistake from Artemis going over the wall. Your Olaf and your Renekton just couldn't follow you.
That's a
Renekton
fair
had
point.
to wait on his E cooldown, and Olaf can't go over walls.
He's overestimating his damage again and again. I think that's the biggest part here. He's just overestimating how much damage he deals.
They can't contest. This is Elder Drake for BTS. This is just Artemis. Like, if you have a team that can go over the wall with you, that Artemis play is brilliant. But look at your team. Who's coming over the wall?
And I think a big problem for Artemis also
Yado, cool.
Yeah. And I think the big problem for Artemis is how this game developed, because he started out with such a huge lead. He was so incredibly strong, right? So he felt like he could do whatever he wanted. He felt he could go for whatever dive he wanted, and that's the Kaiser dream. That's where every Kaiser wants to be. And then the game slowly started to turn, and slowly BTS actually knew how to deal and how to position to prevent Kaiser from popping off. And now Artemis hasn't adjusted to this change. He's not playing the front to back Kaiser. He's still trying to play Assassin Kaiser. And even though I thought that he would get the opportunities, he's just not strong enough. Druktha and Bikora and Glory especially are stronger than he is.
He has been well and truly outscaled as the siege comes in. The mid lane in here will be the first to fall under the onslaught of BTS, and they're just going to keep walking forward. They want to force a game-ending fight as they have that Elder Drake. The Ornhorn is blown, Yado dodging it with an ult, but that just means you dump the gravity field on the portal, and Cerberus are in trouble as the dragons are roaring. The kills are coming in. There is no minion wave for now, but it is going to arrive just momentarily. Here it is. The towers are exposed. And your way, after a horrible early game, BTS rallied, the mental was strong, the Artemis was int, and they will be taking us to a game 3.
And we still, the one thing we can always say about VCS drafts, especially when Gum is not playing, is the worse the draft, the more we flame the draft, the surer the victory. So once again, BTS overcome all odds, overcome this very dangerous composition, actually make it work. We said the champions are not bad, the composition is not bad once it gets to 30 minutes, which it got. So they somehow weather the storm and get to game 3.
That they do. It is an impressive win out of BTS. They rally after a bad early game, and Cerberus drop the ball. In fact, it was a bowling ball, and they dropped it straight onto their foot. We'll have to see if they can get bandaged up and recover in game 3. Don't go anywhere, guys. We hope you are enjoying the show here on VCS English. back, everybody, to VCS English. We have a game 3 on our hands, a series that has gone the distance. BTS fought back after a difficult early game. Cerberus certainly had some spaghetti flowing out of their pockets as they threw it all away and did allow BTS to scale, as I said. Welcome back to the VCS English Analyst Desk. My name is Everyday. With me is Yulwei and our special guest, Clockwork. And we'll be going over to our special guest, Clockwork. What was your take on that game?
Okay, so mid game, you were mentioning how the OLS interpretation of the game and prioritizing late game scaling comms would never work in VCS, and I was about to, I was building all my opinion on that because I wanted to echo that sentiment, and of course, Cerberus had to disappoint us, and they got to a point where their poke with Zoe and Kaisa couldn't stick. They had no real opening for the Kaiser to ult in, and the two bruisers, Renekton and Olaf, couldn't really deal enough damage. I think in that case, in those kind of game scenarios, Cerberus should have done something that can be seen in some games of Dota where there are many late game fights, and the priority target is always the support in that circumstances. I think Cerberus, maybe tried to do it in one of the last fights. They went for Seraphine because her heal was too much to deal with. Cerberus' composition did not have enough damage to put up with Seraphine. So I think they should have done that more often, but eventually it was not enough, and BTS just waited until they scaled. And I think except maybe Drakthar, every other player just sat comfortably for most of the game, just waiting to scale. And then it happened, and BTS won comfortably.
It's interesting you say that, because I actually think only really Glory did that. I guess TH did a fine job of it in the top lane. Pun didn't really get too far ahead from his lane matchup. But the bot lane was getting slapped around by Artemis in the early game. He was so far ahead. You had that 2,000 gold lead in the ADC position for Cerberus. I actually wanted to give a lot of credit to Glory, because I think he survived the lane phase really, really well, did exactly what he needed to do, and then he was so far ahead on the Victor that they were hard focusing him in fights, but he would still just be able to get one combo off and kill someone. Every time. Yeah.
Glory, very instrumental. I also wanted to see something more from Artemis. At some point, I remember that he was 7-1 in the game, and the scaling overall was still going to be better for BTS, but all the kills, all the money were on him, and Kaisa scales pretty well in general, so there was an avenue to win. But then he started to be really over aggressive, and I remember the fight after Baron, he really ulted in without vision, without backup, and basically threw away all his leads. And in that fight, even if Bicor was like something 0-5 or 0-6, he just peeled for himself and stayed alive, and that was enough to bring more to the table than Artemis in that single fight. So I hope I can see something better from late game fights from Artemis, because Cerberus is building all these composition and the gameplay in the early parts of the game. They were going a long mile to ensure that Artemis was in a comfortable position to carry, and then he didn't deliver.
Yeah, and we are heading into the draft here for this game 3. Cerberus returning to the blue side. They have banned out Akali, Camille, and Graves. BTS have taken out Lilia, Olaf, and Udyr, returning to that jungle focus. Cerberus with the first pick. We definitely need to see more out of Artemis this game. I might think maybe Kaisa is not the pick, and they will open with a Pantheon. What do you think they need to do your way?
I guess late game scaling worked, so go back to that, I suppose. Just pick a farming jungler for Drakthar. Maybe Talia is open. Talia is still super strong. I'm not sure why she has fallen out of favor here. So just give us a little bit of late game scaling, because it worked last time. Maybe BTS is our designated late game team. They were last season, had actually one of the best mid to late game ratings over at Oracle's Elixir from all the VCS teams. Of course, they also had by far the worst early game rating, so I would still like to see them improve up on that. Instead, they're going towards something like a mid-game approach with these champions, I guess.
Yeah, Gnar, Blind. I really want Cerberus now to go all in on Pan. Pick something like the Jace and cave his face in, because yeah, I've seen some games in LPL which is also very aggressively, and Jace is very often taken as a Gnar counter pick. I don't know if Pan plays Jace, but I think there are some avenues to punish the top lane, and since it worked very well when the top lane was ahead compared to the bot lane, I think Cerberus can go for that. Rel, really nice pick. I think a good combo with Gnar provides a good primary engage, and then Gnar can follow up and ult. They need to be careful about the Orianna, but let's see what's coming next for Cerberus.
Will be an Alistair ban, as it makes sense for BTS to target the support pool, considering they have secured theirs. I really like seeing the Rel over the Seraphine pick. I think Glory has other options than Seraphine. He does not need to go back to that champion. It's been good for them, but certainly not game-breaking, while the Rel has potential to absolutely break a game open. So I like BTS securing that one. What do we think of... Sorry, go ahead.
I have to actually say this Rel looks a little rough into this composition. I have to, even though I'm a big Rel fan, I think into Xayah Orianna, Rel sounds very hard to play. We'll have to see how he executes, but Xayah can dodge your main engage, and Orianna can just keep you at bay, so I'm not sure about this Rel pick. I feel like it's a little bit premature. They really focused hard on the support picks here, banning away Alistar and Leona afterwards, so they want to win the 2v2. I'm interested in what Cerberus is going to select to counteract this proposition from BTS.
Glory will be going to the Emperor as he picks up that Azir, saving a potential jungle counter pick in BTS, which is an interesting decision considering the amount of jungle bans. There are 5 junglers already removed from the pool, 6 because of the Pantheon pick. I guess they just want to make sure that's not going to get flexed anywhere before they pick their own, and we will have Xayah Rakan,
oh yeah,
the Lover's Lane, secured. I think Rakan is criminally underrated.
Always is.
Particularly when paired with Xayah. How will Cerberus round the composition out?
So they're missing a top laner. I'm still hoping for the Jace. Oh no. Well, Gragas still a good pick. I don't think. Well, here in this case, I think Gnar will have a very easy time into the Gragas, unless Shuhao and Pantheon give Gragas a very huge hand to get to net advantage.
What the hell?
Like,
is Talia disabled? I think Talia is disabled.
I'm very
perplexed. She got banned. She's had bans this series.
This is so weird. Talia is so broken on this patch in pro play. Why are they just ignoring the best jungler on the patch?
I think they were worried about damage profile. That's the only reason I can think of. Because Azir obviously is all magic damage. Kai'Sa is a little bit of that hybrid damage. If you also have Talia, you are actually leaning very far into the magic damage.
That's true.
And Gnar doesn't really make up for it.
Even Gnar deals a fair amount of magic damage with his percentage on hyper.
But
Kayn.
Does that mean you go to Kayn?
If they lose this game in the series and start at 0-3 with Kayn in the most important game where they could secure a victory over Cerberus, oh, Drakthar is going to get flamed. Oh, he's going to get so much flame from the fans.
So I really don't understand the Kayn overall.
Theoretically, Kayn is strong at the moment. Rast and Gore Drinker are a match made in heaven. But it's still Kayn. It's such... Kayn has to be so broken for me to advocate him being played in professional play. Just because of how his early game is. It is a mechanic that is antithetical to professional organised play. I don't think Kayn is that broken at all. I really, really don't.
Kayn has fallen off quite a bit since preseason. It's once again a pretty strong late game pick here for BTS. A few more early options, strong bot lane combination, and mid lane can hold its own as well. It's just a farming lane. We have seen this matchup so many times. But Clockwork, what do you feel? What is your prediction, and do you like the team compositions?
Okay, so the game makes everything unpredictable in my eyes. In general, I think that Cerberus picked a slightly better comp than before because they have more options in the scaling, but still, I think if Shuhao doesn't really go very much ahead and they get again to a much later game, then they have really little access into Azir. So I'm gonna pick BTS here.
Oh,
Making me
spicy.
upset. Spicy stuff. I love it, Clockwork. That's why we bring you on. But we'll
Let's
talk
go.
to you again after the game and after the series when we know who will be our winner.
And I just saw something that is confusing me quite a little bit. Pun starting with or coming into the game with the Comet. And I guess he's going to go AP, full AP Gragas top lane, which we've seen sometimes. I've seen it here and there, especially in the Asian leagues. I think it's very unpopular over in the West. So I'm not sure what to think about this. I guess it's to threaten Mini Gnar in lane and try to kill him, poke him down with Q, and then try to all in him with level 6, maybe set up for a Zuhao gank. It's very lane focused, and it's going to fall off a little bit more, especially if he falls behind. So let's see how he adapts his play.
It might just be a read that he's not going to be able to get too many procs of the grass, and he still builds tank.
Maybe. He dealt a lot of damage with that first Q, so I think he's going AP. I'm not sure if I like it, but I think this is going to be AP Burst Gragas.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes as... Ding, ding, ding! You didn't think we were going to get a series without a pause, did ya? Ha! Not in the VCS! Oh boy. I guess we cut over to our cameras as we hit the Sepia Rift. Sap has arrived! But that gives us a chance to talk about this Kayn. It's such a strange pick. It's just this perennial strange champion that is so pigeonholed in the early game. He has to gank towards top because he needs those red orbs. But do you really want to gank the Gragas? Don't you just want to leave your Gnar on your own? On his own, I should say.
And you don't bring any CC, so the Gragas is just going to laugh at you, slow you down, then belly away. I don't think the Kayn can ever do anything to the Gragas here. So, yeah, not really expecting too much from this one. Oh no, the stream is struggling.
It is.
So
it is very much struggling.
I'm not sure what to make of this draft. I like the BTS call from Clockwork. I'm not quite as confident. Cerberus is the best team in the league at letting fans down, for sure. They are so experienced at this feat. They start 6-0 and then don't even make it to the upper side of the bracket. And yeah, I don't know what to think about Cerberus. They are good and bad at the same time. There's really not a lot to analyze about them. It seems to all be down to their mental state and how much they actually, how much tilt they bring into the game, I guess. It's so hard to call.
It really, really is. And there's not enough to analyze because we only got about 30 seconds of gameplay there. So, with our Clockwork having to go to the bathroom because we've gone to the analyst desk scene rather than the caster scene. So we did expose him there, unfortunately. We might just throw over to a little bit of a tech pause. We'll be back as soon as there's League of Legends to bring you your way if you're able to do that.
Yes.
We're pulling double shift tonight. Yeah, we will be back as soon as there is League of Legends to bring you.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. We do have game. It wasn't too long a sap, thankfully. They did sort out whatever the issue was, and we are watching this bottom lane as Artemis has taken a bit of control. We'll be shoving this wave in towards BTS's tower, but nothing of any real importance has happened quite yet.
And I think we actually need at least one sap per broadcast for Spoots to show off his new graphics, because he actually designed a new one with more poros. So I hope you appreciated all the poros sitting atop the Maokai.
Every pause we add a poro.
Oh no.
Eventually it's going to be more poro than Maokai. As we do have Glory roaming up to help Drakthar out, make sure he has priority over this Scuttle Crab. Did force
Look at the CS.
Zuhao away. He's power farmed. Yeah, Kane farmed quickly.
That's insane. He's at 30 CS at almost 4 minutes. What the hell? That is insane. He got a few lane CS from mid lane, or where did he get all the CS from? I don't know. We didn't see the early game completely. Maybe he invaded something.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
Double Raptors,
Kane is incredibly fast at clearing the jungle. His AoE is incredibly strong in the early game. As TH deals a little bit of damage back, but Pun definitely has the health bar advantage at the moment. That Comet is doing well for him.
Oh, nice E-cancel. That was nicely done from Pun.
Hang on, TH has to be a little bit careful, as he does get hit with that W, but will be able to scamper away and get his reset. Easy enough, and we have a bit of a quiet early game here. Everyone seems content to just farm. The Scuttles were split 1-1.
Though Yada is not very successful at farming, from what we've seen. missed 3 minions in a row there. A little unfortunate, but yeah. Oh no, come on, that's a cannon. Don't miss that. That's what happens when VCS is too slow. We actually get to complain about cannon minions. Most of the time, we start the game at 5 minutes with 5 kills, so no time for that. But now it's just a farm fest, and honestly, that favors the side of Kane so much, especially compared to Pantheon, who's all about the early game.
Well, sort of. Kane does need to get into the lanes. He does need to get into lanes to start harvesting those orbs.
That's true. That's true.
It's not like even if nothing happens for 35 minutes, if he doesn't hit anyone, he doesn't get any orbs.
I think it's quite advantageous to start with that level 6 though, because even if you overcommit, you can go back into your Umbral Trespass and actually get out of there. So it's easier to farm orbs as we get to see the first engage in the bot lane. Big fight.
Yep, Huber is coming in. Zuhao should be able to get this one started. It's double flash, so much CC straight onto Big Koro, but it's nullified completely by Elio. Look at all of what was burnt. And on the other side, they say, oh, okay, your bot lane? Well, we'll just kill Yado.
Great start for BTS. They are turning around the whole series. And what a great reaction from Elio, showing us why Rel can actually be used as a counter engager as well. Getting the double knockup there, not the double stun, where she didn't even need the double stun. In the end, it's only one summoner spell for the bot lane blown.
So let's see how this actually happened here, because, oh, it's just going to be a shuffle, I assume. Yep. Easy. Easy, easy.
Wait, and Yado misplayed that so horribly. He tried to flash the shuffle, was too late, got back. The flash didn't do anything, and then didn't have the flash to get back to his turret. That is one situation where you're not supposed to die. The shuffle was not into the turret. You could have just tried to flash towards the other side, tried to run away with all the movement speed from face rush, from your W. So he was not supposed to die there. Huge misplay from Yado.
Yeah, it really is, and unfortunately that does give Glory a very good start. And this gives, as well as the Kane has already got that Iron Spike whip, who will be going towards the Gore Drinker, of course, as he will be trying to go red Kane. If I see a blue Kane, I might leave. But I don't think there's too much risk of that, thankfully. And this is something we've talked about repeatedly with Cerberus, is they have... Them and Team Secret are competing for the most fragile mental in VCS. I don't think we'll ever see Cerberus win a Game 3 where they didn't win Game 2.
It certainly feels that way. To be honest, no one has won a Game 3 when they haven't won Game 2 so far in this split. It's all reverse sweeps all the time here. or 2-0s. So sweeps. We have sweeps every day, either sweeps or reverse sweeps. So I would like to see a team finally recover from from game 2 faltering, especially after. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like Cerberus... Oh, hang on. We have a gang down here on the bot side, though, as Zuhao does ult on down. But Rel doing so good once more. Not good enough this time, but it's going to be the 1-for-1 trade as Zuhao goes down. Unfortunately, Elio was the one picking up the kill, so definitely still favourable for Cerberus.
I think Bikura was stun locked for the whole time. You can see his level 6, his ultimate is up. Maybe he hit level 6 afterwards, after the minion went down or something, for the counter kill. Possible. I think he was level 5 on the dive. Because with level 6, I think you immediately press ultimate to reposition, get the shield. So maybe a bad read from me there. On the other side though, Draktha is still power farming, 20 CS up at 8 minutes and getting his first objective already.
Yeah, Pun tried to have a look in there, but with Glory and TH sticking their heads into the river...
Yeah, he's level 5 still.
Here.
Yeah. I think he is level 6 after the counter kill. Yeah, he's still level 5 when he dies, so no opportunity to use this ult there. Still very good stun lock from the side of Cerberus. It's a 1-for-1 only, and gave Draktha more time to get more farm, get an objective, and now...
How could be in trouble here. He gets Nard into the wall, but Draktha just goes on Yado instead, uses the Umbral Trespass to dodge the shockwave, and gets an easy kill gifted over to him. Not too happy about getting all of these blue orbs, but he'll take it for a kill.
Yeah, and as long as you're not close to the transformation, any orb is a fine orb, right? So you don't really care. You just have to care for the last orb. So he has to time it correctly to go towards top lane or maybe into the jungle to get a few red orbs afterwards. There you go.
That's
a few red orbs. Could be enough already. I'm not sure. He had a little bit of combat. Let's see.
9 minutes would be... 10 minutes would be a very, very fast transformation. I don't think he has it quite yet.
Look at Yado once again, in horrible position. And this could have... a flash could have saved him here as well. So the earlier flash misplay has gotten punished so severely by BTS. Very good play to see a player struggle and immediately jump on him, attack him over and over again. Now we have a 1-0-1 scoreline for Draktha and Glory, and big CS leads in both positions as well.
Yeah, this does feel like a bit of a collapse out of Cerberus here in this early game, as they are getting pretty thoroughly beaten in two positions, and I mean bot lane's going okay, but it doesn't really make up for the mid and the jungle gap. And your Pantheon being behind a Kayn in the early game? Oh no. Oh no. That can't happen.
Yeah, he's way too strong already, and he's not even transformed. A lot of people say Kayn before transformation is only 80% to champion. Well, 80% has been more than enough to kill Yado repeatedly, so what's going to happen when he's 120% champion with Red Kayn? It's not looking good for Cerberus, and they're just falling apart in the early game. 2k gold down against BTS.
Yep, this is very, very damning for Cerberus. This could be BTS's first series win. We still have a ways to go, of course. Excuse me.
And this will be the first dragon for BTS. Nice objective control from Draktha. He is a level ahead still. He got both the early objectives. He got 2 ganks off already. So his team is ahead in kills. A little bit of counter kills, of course, towards bot side, where Zuhao wasn't able to really stick the landing. I mean, he got a kill, but he also died for it. So this Pantheon jungle not looking too impressive. It's supposed to be the strongest jungler on the patch. Maybe not in the hands of Zuhao. And I actually want to take a little bit of time to talk about Zuhao, because he's not supposed to be their starting jungler. This Cerberus team is mostly the same from last year, and they looked pretty good last year. But then they upgraded the jungle, and everyone expected this jungle to be such a huge upgrade with Ego and actually elevating them to the next level. Now Ego can't play. So we have them to cut them a little bit of slack. Maybe they practice with the Ego. Maybe Zuhao is coming in cold after... I'm not sure what happened to Fook. So I think I'm not quite able to write Cerberus off completely, but the start to the season hasn't been great.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason I'm perhaps a little bit more down on them is I don't think Zuhao is their only issue. It's just this constant mental issue. that Cerberus seems to have. As I was saying before the play in the bot lane, Cerberus and Team Secret are competing for the worst mental in the VCS. As soon as anything goes wrong in a game or a series, you can just write them off. One big thing goes wrong, even if it's not game ending from an analytical point of view, you can basically just write them off. It's like their mental's gone. They're just going to lose. And that's so tragic. It's such a stupid thing to consistently lose games to. I get that, like, maintaining mental, it's a lot harder than just it's a lot easier said than done. But it's been their problem for like a year.
Yeah,
Get a sports psychologist
really
or something. You need one. They're just part of an esports org at this point.
Would be great for these players. And not all of these players are new players either. Pan is still very,
That's
very
the thing.
young.
They're not rookies. They're
Yeah.
not rookies.
Pan is still very young. I could see him be a little bit of a tilter at 17, 18 years old. Artemis is a younger player as well, but then we have Zuhao and Yadu have played on international stages, especially in the case of Zuhao playing at MSI. I don't think Yadu has, but Yadu is pretty old, not really old player,
For the
but
VCS.
a veteran at least. He's, I think, 22 or 21, so for VCS standards, that's pretty old. That's as old as Perks, so he's not supposed to be a tilter.
Yeah. It's really not. This is, it's not good to see. It's a very frustrating thing. You know, we have a few pretty dedicated Cerberus fans in our community. G'day, Dad. And it's just frustrating. It's such a silly thing to constantly have to watch. And on the other side, BTS have actually shown very, very good mental fortitude.
Yeah, I think
As
we
you
have to
said,
praise BTS a little bit more as well, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I was wanting to get to, is we do have an engage though. Pun is in some trouble, caught by the Rel ult. He throws the barrel to try and find a way
Elio.
out, but the way out does not exist, as Elio gets onto the horse and does so well. Drakthar is in the Rast form, will let TH get the kill, and a teleport is about 2 minutes too late, as Yado arrives and will only be able to pick up CS.
Yeah, pack it up,
He's
boys.
actually going to
This
get a
is
kill,
over.
actually. Never mind. He got the shutdown, but he's going to pay for it with his life.
Oh, maybe.
Rakan and Xayah arriving. Umbral Trespass gets a little bit of space for Drakthar. And the bot lane with Cerberus will not be able to trade a kill back.
Look how tanky Drakthar is already, and just transformed to Red Cane, or Rast I should say, before the fight, so a lot of sustain coming into this fight already on the Gore Drinker as well. They will get another objective, and I actually wanted to talk about something that happened before the play, so I'm just going to talk about that and wait for the replay for the play to happen, because it's a very bad sign just to look at the mid lane. Okay, let's take a minute to go through the replay. Elio with very good rel play once again. That was such a cool W. He predicted the dash from Pan and Zuhao and just interrupted everything. Could have tanked one more tower shot. Could have been probably a lifesaver to TH if he tanked one more. So,
Well, to be fair, TH also could have just kept walking.
yeah, fair enough. And Yado, to be fair, used both summoners as well, and once again is a sitting duck, very easy to kill. Rakan gets counteracted by Rel, and barely makes it out of here. But in the end, it's a 3-4-1, I believe, for BTS, and they go off to a 3k gold lead at 60 minutes.
This is very strong from BTS, and what I was trying to praise them for before these plays kicked off, I'm hoping that we have a chance to actually get some BTS praise in rather than just Cerberus flame, is they consistently have had pretty weak early games. As you were saying in the last match, or the last game, I should say. Their early game stats, according to things like Oracle's Elixir, were pretty dreadful. But they always had very good mid games and very good late games, which shows mental fortitude. And now that they're cleaning up some of their mechanics, Drakthar last split was, let's be real, he was a pretty bad player.
Yeah, it's looking so
Has
much
improved
better now.
Has improved massively into this split. All of BTS, I think, has improved. They clean up those early games. They have that mental resilience to actually play a series to 3, to play a game from behind. They're a pretty mean threat. They're still not league beaters, like, honest, if we're honest. But they can show up and take some pretty big games off people.
Yeah, I think the most important part for them is they don't want to contest the title. Of course, everyone wants to win the title, but this team is not built to win a title. The most important part for BTS as an organization, for all these players, is to establish themselves as firmly as VCS class players. And I think they're succeeding in that. There's still better teams, a lot of, actually quite a few better teams, but they are a threat. And they are a force to be reckoned with for every single team. Maybe not for GAM, but no one is for GAM, so that doesn't really count, right now at least. So I feel like they have established themselves as an organization in the VCS, and even though they might not be a top tier team, and they have to struggle for every single series victory, other teams also have to struggle every single game playing against them to get the victory. There are no pushovers.
Absolutely not. As you see that Lovers recall, how handy. Lets Artemis get a little bit more CS and still get a very fast recall out. We do head on to the Mountain Rift as well, as BTS secure their second Drake. They have a Cloud and an Ocean. Pretty strong Drakes overall, and they'll be happy to stack those ones up for their tankier members. They're just so far ahead. It's a 3k gold lead. We
didn't see that.
We're going to ignore that. Just move straight on. That was definitely interesting. Elio finds humor in the jungle, but they will just disengage from each other. And we have seen it in action, and we will be seeing it in action again as Drakthar bears down on Yado. The shockwave is there, but the Kane ultimate will keep him safe, get a little bit of healing, and this is just a tilt play out of Cerberus. They turn it around. Glory doing well with the wall. Elio extremely low. He does not go down yet. He's still trying to provide stuns. There is one trade back onto Glory. Pun low, and Big Koro arrives to clean it up, but Drakthar actually was found in the melee.
And even though BTS is known to be the slowest team, the team that takes it more like an international team, that likes to scale into the late game, they can't really put the VCS behind them. They are still there to dive towers, even though it's inadvisable, and we can see this one again. Drakthar and Ilio, I mean, the combo was pretty well executed. They get the kill on Yado. It takes them a little bit too long and gives Cerberus time to call in the reinforcements. Ilio, once again, very good positioning here. Very nicely done also to get away there. And Drakthar heals forever. But Glory, of course, overcommitted there on the Azir. No flash for him to get out of the situation. And I believe we are once again on Sepia Rift, so I'm going to throw it back, I guess, to the analyst desk. Hear what Clockwork wants to say.
Oh, why not? We've got him here. He is at his desk, so Clockwork. You've got a chance to come give some analysis in the mid-game. What's your take on this early game?
Okay, so far, during both previous games, I'm keeping a notepad where I put my ideas, and I always put praise Drakthar at the end. Now, I'm going to say it now, Drakthar is completely bossing the early game on the Kane pick, and I'm really, really surprised that he is doing it against a Pantheon, which is one of the top 2 early game junglers together with Olaf. So really, really key action. And he and Elio are really playing the invades really well. They're really setting up a lot, and they're making specifically Yado's life really miserable. He's having such a hard time being relevant on the Orianna.
Yeah, I think it all started with Yado, with the horrible flash in mid lane, but they exploited that one mistake so heavily, got such a huge lead, even the mid lane turret. That was actually the point I didn't get in when we got into the replay. It's such a huge difference in these two, how these teams play. If you look at the last game, where Cerberus really struggled for minutes and minutes to get the mid lane turret down, because they overdived, because they didn't get the good setup. And then BTS is on the lead on the red side, and what do? Immediately go to mid lane, get the tower cleanly at 10 minutes, and it looks so much better, so much cleaner.
We are back in game, so we had a little Clockwork interval there, just touching in with the clock. We always love it, as we hopefully are heading back onto the Rift, if you've done it yet.
Yes.
There we go. Yuwei's got a hard job. He has to cast and do production. It's not easy. Trust me, I did it for a whole split. As we do have Big Koro picking up this red buff here, let's have a check in on the items, because we have 5 mythics completed for BTS and 4 for Cerberus. It is that full AP Gragas has completed the Night Harvester, and it's a Stride Breaker for the Gnar. Do you agree with the Stride Breaker?
I still haven't really wrapped my mind around Stride Breaker. I have to play some melees to really understand what the item does. I think it's pretty good in Gnar, from what I've seen in pro play.
Just place it. Just play some Darius, man.
Yeah, great. Everyone wants to see that. Everyone on my team. Well, yeah, I think Strikebreaker is pretty good enough. Gets him another repositioning tool. Gets him a little bit of chase potential if he ever gets to if he ever gets a good trade in the side lane. So I feel like that's the go-to item on Na most of the time. I also want to shout out the mythic item choice for Elio. There are two choices you can make basically on this champion. It's either this one, which is more utility, more engage focused. So Shurelius gives you AP, which is kind of whatever on this champion. She has some nice AP scalings, but you don't really buy it for the AP. But it gives all your team speed and extra damage, and that's very nice to start fights. The other choice would be the more defensive one, which is of course the Aegis. Not really seen much on these patches. I think it's a little bit overpriced, a little bit under. The stats aren't great, so I think it needs a buff or two. I actually really like the item, especially for early game trades. But I'm excited to see what Elio can do with this one and see if he finds a cool engage just because of his mythic choice.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of synergy with his team as well. Allows, Drakthar and that to get in there as well as TH. And Drakthar, of course, is still very far ahead, has the Gore Drinker complete. Gore Drinker on Rast is honestly just not fair. He has about 4 health bars with how much healing he will do. He does just slip into the wall there. As they're setting up for the dragon play, this would put BTS onto Soul Point if they can take it. But here's the engage. Huber doing well, and Elio is removed from the map. The Gnar was used as well just to push Zuhao back. The Keg as well. BTS can just give this one up though. They made the mistake. They'll just lose the dragon.
Yeah, very nicely done from Cerberus. Good positioning. They anticipated this rel engage this time around. They knew exactly what was coming and reacted in time. No chance whatsoever for Elliot to react. Didn't even get to press his ultimate. So that's only one button press and works almost instantly. He didn't even get that one off. So no chance for him or his team to react to that play, and Cerberus strike back a little bit, delay the Dragon Snowball, and get into, well, close to only being 2k gold down. They are still in a bad spot. They still are very much looking at a tough road ahead to win this game, but this is the first good move they've done in quite a little bit of time.
Sure is. As it's good to see them fighting back. This is, we've made the point about Cerberus's mental, so they really need to find something to rally around. And at the moment, that is Artemis. He is 3-0 on this Xayah. Has the help me, I'm mental blanking on what the mythic's called. Oh my god.
On Xayah, Gale Force.
Gale Force.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do know. I just had a mental blank.
That's alright. Yeah, the Gale Force, this time a little bit of a different choice for Xayah. Artemis last game, or the game before the Xayah, okay, Elio. I really wanted to give him MVP, but after these two plays, maybe not. A little bit of an overexcitement for Elio, formerly known as Lisa, of course. He's not a rookie. He played a whole split for % last year.
And what an improvement out of him in the last.
Oh, for sure. He's
coming in.
He looked renewed.
Where we were saying he might be the worst player in the VCS. We had the budget game, and we were debating making him cost 0 because of how bad he was. And look at him now, one of the better supports in the league. What a glow up! Get you a man that can improve that much.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the overall transition for supports in this league. I think our support pool has gotten better and better every single split. With Elio stepping up, then we also had Xin for a time. Of course, at the top end we have B, Slay, Palette, of course also CBL when he's actually playing. I'm not sure. Ronopi is a good support when he's allowed to play. Not today, apparently. So
Cuba is actually pretty good as well.
He's stepping up as well. So yeah, I think his support is actually super exciting in this league and one of the better positions. I think we struggle more on the solo lane department. I think ADC support and jungle is where the VCS really has a very, very strong wealth of talent.
Yeah, the solo lane I definitely think is the VCS weak point. Once you get out of the top 2 or 3, in each team. As here we go, another push in from Cerberus. Elio has to jump over the wall, but the horse makes that one very easy, very free. BTS has kind of their early game role has been put to a stop.
Yeah, they're not used to being in a lead this early on in the game. They looked at the clock and was like, wait a second, this feels like the game is already over. We need to delay the game by 20 minutes, okay guys? We only know how to play from 35 minutes onwards. So they're taking it slower. That's okay, that's okay. BTS always had the lowest combined kills per minute of any game. They had a very long game time last split as well. So this is all in their comfort zone. They're trying to scale up, get another item under their belt for Glory, maybe for Big Core as well, and then look for engages.
It is dangerous though, because this Xayah is going to be scaling up as well.
Yeah.
We know how the Xayah versus Kai'Sa matchup goes just from the previous game, though of course the roles are now reversed. That is a 3-item Xayah. Baron is on the map, but not really in contention at the moment. But there is going to be that Mountain Drake in a minute. And if Cerberus starts rolling up these Mountain Drakes, even though they don't have a dedicated tank on their team, they are going to be very difficult to kill.
Yeah, and I think we actually get to see something that is not super tangible in most games, but is one of the key differences between good AD carries and great AD carries, like Artemis. Artemis, from behind his team, was in a very dire situation. He knew his team had to rely on him in late game team fights, so he called, probably, or maybe his team, or at least on the scoreboard it looks like he did it, to farm as many lanes as possible. He knows he's a champion that needs a lot of gold. He of course got a lot of kills as well early on, but look at his CS numbers, 340 at 27 minutes. That's a lot of CS being funneled into this Xayah, and I think to a great effect, because now he's on 3 items, as you pointed out, building towards this 4th item. As we posture aggressively around.
Yeah, my monitor cord just fell out, so I can't see the screen at the moment.
Oh no.
You're gonna have to cover.
Oh,
I do
no.
apologize.
So, both teams are keen to fight. They want to go for the Mountain Dragon. No one really finding the correct angle right now. We see a recall from Glory, who wants to TP in. Oh, and the call from BTS to abandon the Dragon and instead go for Baron. Immediately spotted, of course, by Cerberus. Cerberus gets the Dragon, and the Baron has only just started, so this is dangerous for BTS. Double flank, Elio and TH.
I'm back.
Elio and TH.
Here we go, Hubert taking a bit of damage from TH, as you said. Hubert jumping forward, but he gets gnarred into the wall. He's just going to get blown up. A mistake out of this support for sure. On the other side, Elio holding up 2. He gets over the wall, though. There's a keg. There it is. Pun with the kill. 2,000 health on the Baron. This is getting very, very close. Zuhao is here. He flashes forward. He gets the smite. And it's all going Cerberus's way. Drakthar with a heal, but it's not going to be enough. As Artemis is free firing, goes up into the Featherstorm, but can't hit the Blade Caller. Pun in some trouble. He gets away, though. Gets that happy hour heal. Now they're charging forward. Stridebreaker used. TH goes gold. This is risky. Glory has put himself in the back of the pit. We'll have access to the E soon. Zuhao puts up the shield. They get the kill, but he goes down in trade. It's now the 2v2. TH trying to charge up the Narbar. Glory has the out with his soldiers. I believe both teams will be disengaging.
And how is every single fight ending up with 3 dead on either side? This is ridiculous. I think this is the series with the most 3-for-3 trades I've ever seen. This time, of course, massively in favor of Cerberus. They pick up the Dragon, they pick up Baron, and another mid lane turret. So now actually back in the lead after a horrible early game. We were already ready to write them off, to call it a day for Cerberus today after BTS, this very strong team fights, but instead they find another angle. Very nice execution from Pan here, coming in to eliminate Elio, and then Zuhao just flashes over, doesn't use the blast cone for some reason. I guess it's easier to anticipate the blast cone, so he wanted to be as quick as possible and as unexpected as possible. Gets over the wall, seals away the Baron, gets another kill, and then this fight continues on. BTS, for some reason, was still pretty bloodthirsty, probably a little bit angry at losing the Baron. Zuhao gets on top of Bikoro. Bikoro tries to get the shield, but to no avail. And in the end, 3 dead on either side. But Baron and Dragon and the mid turret, Cerberus firmly ahead from this play.
Yeah, this was a very good play out of them. They've drawn the gold even. They maintain 2 Baron buffs, and they continue to scale. In fact, they're just a little bit ahead in gold now. As Xayah moves on towards a... what is the item in her 4th slot?
That's the new old Lord Dominic's Regards, the new icon for Lord
Ah,
Dominic's Regards.
jeez. That is, I can't even tell what that's meant to be.
I think it's still the same,
Probably
right?
new
It's still crossbow.
The crossbow,
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
still a crossbow.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a weird looking one. But regardless, it is going to be that Lord Dominic. Thank you. Your game knowledge is always appreciated. But Drakthar has found a flank. Cerberus could be a little bit trapped
Look
in
at
here.
Elio.
Look at this. The horns of the buffalo don't snap closed.
Okay, BTS still waiting for their perfect opportunity. I just hope they don't wait for too long. That's
They're
my
gonna get this mid
main
lane tower. They
concern
just
here.
inside track them here.
Okay, pun. That was weird.
Barrel use, Zuhao diving in, just trying to get some damage, I guess. Elio trying to get as much done, but he just can't. He just goes straight down. TH has to hop away, does not have access to the Gnar. It's already been used.
And I think the
Cerberus
doubts are creeping up again. They are 0-2 already. They looked so good in this early game after coming back in the last one. They were so close to finally winning a series, and now they're losing the fights again. Their mid lane inhibitor is going to fall in this push, most likely. Oh no, the doubts are creeping back up for BTS. And Cerberus looking revitalized off the back of this super strong mid game from Artemis, where he just collected farm and got his team into a position where they could 5v5 again.
Yeah, and this is down to Artemis being that veteran player. He's the one that has managed to rally his team around him, given them that point of hope that is so important when your team has some problems with their mental. He is able to just say, don't worry guys, we can just ride my damage. I'm a Xayah, I'm scaled, I'm ahead. I can just carry this entire game. All you have to do is protect me. And they're doing a very, very good job of that. Elio is unable to start the plays now because he just gets exploded.
Yeah, and this goes back to his item choices. I'm not sure if a different item would have made a difference, but he went for the squishiest of Rel builds, and it's kind of hurting him and his team. He looked for a very good flank there, but once again, as I said a minute ago, I'm just worried that this team has lost their opportunity to go for engages, that they're looking too hard for a perfect engage instead of taking a 90% one. And now this is going to be another fight. Pun trying to go for the flank.
Again, Zuhao is close, but it goes down instantly. That is going to be BTS picking up their third Drake. Not a soul, so Cerberus really didn't need to overcommit into that one. BTS had position, so they just let it go. I actually like that decision. There's no need to lose a game over one stack of Mountain Drake.
Fair point. It's soul points still for BTS now. If they win a fight in 4 minutes, they probably get the soul, so it's still a risky thing to give up for Cerberus. They have all the time to set up the Baron vision now, and they should be favored to get a good position here and maybe draw a bait around the Baron on top side to finally get a step closer to closing the series, because we're already 34 minutes in, so this game is still could go for a good 15 minutes longer.
Yeah, definitely could. This is a bit of a cracker we've got on our hands here. Zuhao is actually managing to have a pretty good impact in these fights. I know that seems strange when he's 0-4, but he has 8 assists, and his stuns and the shield placement have actually been pretty crucial. This Pantheon is causing a lot of problems in the fight. We need to see Drakthar build on how good his early game was and really start doing Rast things in these team fights. He hasn't been sticking around. He's just been getting blown up.
Yeah, he's actually really struggled in team fights, surprisingly so.
Yeah.
You expect the Red Gnar that is ahead with 2 items this early in the game to just completely run over the game. But in all the 5v5 fights, he has not done much. Has not really gotten much damage down, hasn't really threatened the backline, and he himself has died multiple times. 2 times, to be fair, only in this game, but still not the greatest impact from a Red Gnar. We would expect him to do a little bit better.
And we've got to point out that Artemis might be switching profession. I guess he doesn't want to be a professional gamer anymore. He wants to go back to his roots, be a good farmer, as he has just passed 430 farm. Is full build on this Xayah, and the team knew where their bread was buttered. And
Yeah,
it's
but
buttered. It's like a whole pack or 3 of butter.
Yeah,
on that
it
piece
is.
of bread.
It is more butter than bread, that's for sure. But I think you should stop farming now, because you're not hard-pressed to wave clear, and you're on full items, Artemis, so please, just let Pan have the wave. Why are you still farming this wave? I know it looks and feels good to
Poor
have
Yano.
all the crits there, but Pan is just standing there like, please, I only have 3 items. Give me one as well.
Here we are. We are on the Baron. It goes down very quickly under Cerberus's assault. 3,000 health on it. Where is the enemy jungler? Nowhere close. Elio tries to run distraction, but can't. The Baron buff is already secured. TH is going to go into Nah. He gets a one-man ultimate. It's just not enough. The kills are coming in. There is a shockwave kill for Yado, and BTS have been forced out of the river. Zuhao will man drop into the back line. Drakthar is the target. Zuhao goes gold. He will slip through the wall, but this is an absolute rout.
Yeah.
BTS have been forced off the battlefield.
BTS barely hanging on to dear life. If either of Bikoro or Drakthar die, the game is surely over. It might still be over. 30 seconds on Glory. Only 10 on Elio, so probably not enough to finish the game. There's only 1 minion alive, so I don't think... Oh, they want it though. Yeah, I think Cerberus just realized they can't really go for the finish. They got Baron and an inhibitor, and bot lane wave looks pretty juicy right now. I would definitely swap to bot lane and get another inhibitor, but they are greedy. They want the win. They want to go home.
Yeah. They don't want to take any risks. They want to secure this one right here. They've got one tower. There's Drakthar trying to buy space. Elio doing well. That's a big Gnar as well. But BTS are getting shredded. This is not a close fight, as all of them are
Glory?
dying. Cerberus, very low health bars. Glory will manage to get in there, get a good scoop. He kills 2. Big Koro gets another. And this might have been a bridge too far for Huber. Or all of Cerberus as they pick up the kills. This game will continue. And the VCS never stops delivering.
And I'm so happy I buckled up. I fastened my seatbelt before this series started, because I would have fallen out of this roller coaster. What an incredible turn. Why would you go for the end there? You know the timer. You have a perfect wave in bot lane. Look at the bot lane wave. It's still attacking the tower without any intervention. And now they are at risk.
They might lose.
Yeah, they are at risk of losing this one. I feel like it's not enough time. 19 seconds left. And there's a super minion wave to get through. They should probably call this one off, or we will get another...
No, they've got Big Koro.
Oh.
They win. BTS win this.
Probably.
TH takes the towers.
Yeah, Glory has a
so.
lot of attack speed too. Oh, it might be the biggest throw of the season.
This is so close. They're going to hit the Nexus straight onto it. Glory gets barreled instantly. TH is going low, but the Nexus is as well. And they hold. They have held. There's a teleport going.
No.
There's a recall from Drakthar, but Cerberus goes one way. BTS goes the other. And Cerberus turns it around again, and it is the weirdest end game I have seen in a long time, but in the end it is the red Nexus going down. It is BTS losing, and Cerberus have got over the line.
Too many loopings in the end, and we didn't have enough steam to get into the last one. They fell off right in the middle of it, and man, what a disappointing finish for BTS. They start the season 0-3, being so close so many times. What a tragedy.
What a silly ending. What a silly ending. Oh boy. We will go over to an analyst desk just briefly so we can just check in. Clockwork, just give us your reaction to that game.
Okay, so there's a very popular meme in Italy at the moment, which is a politician saying, first reaction, shock. That's me at the moment. That's me at the moment, because, well, this ending was like completely out of the blue, and it was very, very narrow because, as you were mentioned, the sidelines were completely disregarded. BTS tried to flip it. It was close. It was exciting. Thank God we've had this like hype moment. Yeah, overall, Cerberus took the series. That is some really ironclad mental fortitude that they needed to pull off to close this one in this way. Okay.
Crazy.
I can also give something more related to the game. I think the turning point of the series was not the series, the game, was when BTS flipped it at Baron, the first Baron, I think it was. They had a good position.
How many burgers did we flip this game? I can't even count them anymore.
Yearly.
I worked at a McDonald's for about 6 months when I was 16, and we flipped more burgers than the average lunch rush in this game.
Yeah, I can understand. The Baron flip, BTS had a good setup. They had the flanks covered. On one side there was TH and Elio on the other side, but the crucial mistake was that they overestimated the damage that they would do to the Baron with Azir and Kaisa. They were too slow, so Cerberus had time to get in and guard the flanks, and then get their territory back and contest the Baron. So I think that was another crucial indicator of Cerberus navigating the fight how they wanted. And as it showed, when they managed to nail it, the game is theirs.
Yeah, I think a big credit to Artemis from me. He just played mid game flawlessly. He picked up all the early kills, and at the start we didn't think it would matter because the team overall was so far ahead from BTS's side. But then Artemis just made it count so much. He was so far ahead in items, and 3-item Zarya is stronger than 3-item Kai'Sa, especially if Kai'Sa goes for the 4-item power spike build, which he did. So I think this is just a huge carry performance out of Artemis. Not clean at all, and I think Cerberus has a lot to work on, but it's a relief for them to start the series, the whole season 3-1, getting over the BTS hurdle.
BTS has a lot to think about as they are now 0-3 in series. A very bad start to the split for them. But here on VCS English, we will be going to a little bit of a break to catch our breath, de-stress after what was an insanely close series in the end. Don't go anywhere, guys. We hope you are enjoying the show. If you are, let us know in chat. It makes us feel good about ourselves. Also, consider supporting us through donations or Patreon or Twitch subscriptions. They all really help, and every dollar counts. It's really hard to do this with no budget, and yeah, we'd like to have some sort of budget, so please do consider helping out. Regardless, we will see you in not too long for the second series of tonight, where Flash take on the Super Big Time Chicken.